And hello everyone, and welcome to today's stream. And if you haven't noticed, I have something very cool. I have a new intro screen. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I'm still going to improve a few things over there, like not in terms of an animation quality or that, it's 10 out of 10, but I want to like write maybe in a corner starting soon, and some quotes showing up, just some little tweaks. But I got this delivered yesterday and I didn't want to do a rush job in adding those features. I wanted to have because the animation deserves me to put my best effort into bringing it into its highest quality. I was choosing the music and everything, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. I worked with Carlo Rivas, an artist, and the process was impeccable. As always, links in the description. I'm just going to show you one more time and then I'll be back to this room, do not worry, but it's so good. And yes, for me it's so cool to see things coming together, to see everything becoming more and more polished over here. Carlo Rivers, who did that animation, is also the artist who made this background, and now the background is also animated, another small change. You have the clock over there ticking, have the candle here on my right side with a flame flickering, and it's so much cooler to have things looking fancy and tweaked around. I'm so excited. I'm really happy with this. And of course, let me say hello to people on Twitch and of course my followers on YouTube. And hello Jeter15, hello Kraventost, Lori and Stephanie, welcome to the stream. And today we have a very exciting stream. I'm just talking a little bit, teasing a little bit, making some time, but the stream itself today is going to be really fun. I'm a gamer. Yes, I'm a self-proclaimed gamer, and I've been gaming for a long time. While others were getting Game Boys or eating grass, no, I've been a PC gamer for a long time, and PC game is the main platform for strategy games. I've been playing strategy games for ages, and I decided to take all of those strategy games and make a tier list out of them. Some of them I don't remember very well, others I have a lot of vivid memories. And the tier list today has around, I've played over 100 strategy games, but I excluded city builders and tower defense games because I feel like the dynamic is a little bit different. We still have RTS, we have 4X games, we have grand strategy, so still a lot on the table. So the tier list ended up having a little bit over 80 games. So we have a lot to go through, and I won't just be speedrunning. No, I want to talk about the games, I want to talk about the memories I have with them. And hello Christella, afternoon, welcome to the stream. Always great to be joined by people. The tier list, that's one step away from becoming a reaction Andy. By the end of next week, all you'll do is cover easy left drama. I mean, if it gives me the subs and the numbers, man, you know, you gotta chase what the community wants, so... Huge scandal, actually, Herod and the Viper are fighting. No. That's not my style. Nah, but tier list, I mean, things can get heated up in a tier list, and I have some takes that I think will be very polite and mild, and others will shock some people. I want controversy as well. This is... I won't be managing my placement by others' expectations. No, this is my tier list. I am the master here. This is my realm. Just a quick one for me as I'm working. Ah, no worries. And yes, I do know that my stream time is the work time of many time zones. That's often good for streaming, which is counterintuitive, but often weekends are worst, at least in my streams. I have a lot of people who watch my streams while working. That's what people in chat say, and that's what the data says, and I need to follow what works. And this is a great time for me to stream after lunch, grab my only cup of coffee for the day, and now I'm here and ready. But let's move on to the tier list itself that I prepared. Whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And here I am, and yeah, we'll be ranking them S to D, no fancy tiers, nothing like, oh, spectacular game, no, just S to D, the standard, and... quite a significant wall of games. I've played quite a few. Some of them I've played for hours, and others not as much, but we'll see how things go. And they are basically in a random order. They are not like alphabetical order, they're nothing like that, they're just random. I'm just so busy, yeah. Yeah, have you played all of those? Yes! Every single game here I have played. I didn't include any game that I haven't played. All of these I've played, and some of them quite a few hours. Others, my experience is very limited, and oof, I'm not going to skip. I'm going to always start with the leftmost game. Let's put it like this. No need to see the thingies on top. I think here it looks fine, and I think the image quality and everything should look nice to you. Of course, they are a little bit small, but that's because we have a lot of games. And the first one is Northgard, and that's already a difficult choice for me. This is a very recent game. Yeah, I didn't play it as much, and I feel like I sabotaged myself in this game. I don't know why. I was in an era of tryharding, and I played Northgard like maximum difficulty from the start. And that made me have to repeat a lot of levels and things like that, and I think I didn't create myself the best experience with the game. I think the game is very good. Oi. I think the game itself is very good. It is a mix of city building. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of a mix of city building, but with PvP elements and things like that. And I honestly think, of course, the theme is more Nordic. There's different factions that you choose that influence the gameplay, and there's also PvP elements, even though it's more like the gameplay can be similar to a PvP, to a city builder. You build buildings, you manage the happiness and recruit soldiers and things like that, but there is PvP play, and I may adjust this later on. Every try being a DLC is a downside. Yeah, I feel like also I haven't played it a lot, but in terms of longevity of the game, I see that it has been quite criticized, some of the things, and I'm going to start with putting Northgard right down the middle. It may go up or down, depending how tiers are going, but as a starting point, I'm going to start with Northgard right down the middle. And I feel like I'm already making enemies with that one. I'm like, usually I don't call myself a figure of authority when it comes to a lot of things. For example, if we are discussing animes, I'm going to be very mild. I'm not the expert. Here, I'm going to be harsh. I'm going to be harsh with. To be an S tier, you have to be really good. S tiers will be limited. But yeah, let's go on. Let me just... Okay, let's go on to Cossacks. And we are starting with hard games because some of them I can go for hours and hours and hours and hours talking about every single detail. We are starting with games that I've played little, actually. Some of these games I've played for hours. Cossacks 3 is another one that I have very limited memories. Why did the tier list start with the games that I played the least amount? I remember having fun with Cossacks 3. I remember the like how rewarding it was to control the units and some gunpowder shenanigans, but usually if a game didn't create a lot of memories for me, and I played it quite a bit and I don't have a lot of memories, so usually that's a bad sign. Some of these, like both Northgard and Cossacks, I feel like I need to replay them. I've heard of Cossacks 3. Isn't that the Super Massive Armies one? I don't think so. I don't remember Cossacks 3 has been Super Massive Armies game, but it could be. Okay, 0 AD. I feel like this is a game. This is open source. This is a game created... I think this was a game created to... Oh, you had Infinite Kill Production, so maybe it is the Armies one. 0 AD, it was a game created to fill a void, in my opinion. It is an open source game that is being developed, and I think this was a reaction to the content drought of RTSs. Everyone wanted RTSs and there were no RTSs for a while. This is a community-driven project, and I think it's good. It reminds me kind of like Age of Empires and that kind of games, but once again, I think it's not... like, it's standard, but it's not breathtaking. It's solid. It's a good experience. I think you can find it online to download, but I don't think it's anything astonishing. Okay, now we're going to a game that I've played around 500, 600 hours. This one I can talk about. And the fact that I've played Europa Universalis 4 influences my perspective on this game a lot. When I played this game, I loved it. I had such a great time, like, conquering the world. I had never played a great strategy game. It was my first grand strategy game, EU3, and I absolutely loved the game. Now, looking back at it, I don't think it aged that well. I don't think it's that great of a game. And it is a good game, but I think there's a lot of jank in it. A lot of unfun mechanics. I remember managing merchants and things like that, and colonization. It was so janky, like, it was so spammy. I don't think this... yeah, I'm starting rough. I want to be positive. I want a top-leaning tower. Okay, now we have something different. Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. This is a Warhammer game, and this is not like build base, gather army, not that kind of game. This is more of what I call like a squadron management game. But your squadron isn't troops, it is spaceships. And this game takes the very rich lore of Warhammer. Each faction has a lot of personality, a lot of character. It's a very asymmetrical world, and I think it does such a spectacular job in conveying that. In gameplay mechanics, like having the orc ships and having the what's the name? The Tyrannid fleets trying to slam the other ships and things like that. I feel like you have to be fast and tactical, but not too much, and it feels like a great experience. Like, the gameplay experience is amazing. It feels rewarding. Having controlling the fleet is a spectacular. And yes, Warhammer started with the tabletop game. Exactly, this is a video game adaptation. The tabletop game is more squadron based. The scale. I have also painted. I played Ultramarines in the tabletop game. This is more space. The game is futuristic space, Armada, and let me just take care of this. I only had a lot of Rings figurines, yeah, and they're also quite cool. But this game, I feel like it's gonna be my first A. It's not like. It's not a standard base building, but I think the formula that the game approaches, it approaches really well. Control is very satisfying. And controlling the fleets and everything, be it PvP, playing the campaign against the computer, I think it was quite rewarding. Now, Warhammer Dawn of War. This is the more standard RTS, while this is squadron-based. Dawn of War is more base building, it's more your standard RTS, you fight over objectives, you also have the Eldar, the Orcs, super units and things like that. And I enjoyed this game quite a bit. I think this is a good game. Like, some of these games are kind of meh. This one is definitely good. If I had to draw a line, is this a good game or is this a bad game? This is a good RTS. Warhammer Dawn of War, I played quite a bit. I had fun with the squadrons, the unit upgrades and things like that. I think it really portrays the character of the Warhammer world. Once again, it's a world that's easy to do well because it's so rich. I think I'm going to place it below Battlefield Gothic Armada, but above Northgard. This goes right to left. Left are the best games. I think Gothic Armada is a better game, but this is quite good. Okay, this one for me, it's hard to place. Army Man Real-Time Strategy. And while some of these games, I know people have been like, oh, I know a lot of this game, I know how this runs, I know I'm very opinionated. If anyone knows this game, I'm going to be very surprised. If anyone knows what pressing the J key does in this game, that's a reference to the tutorial. Never press the J button. No, I know this game very well. Other people may add a question mark game, but I know this game super well. I can clear it quite easily. And this is part of a video game franchise called Army Men, and they had a lot of different games. They had a game where you controlled helicopters and things like that. Air Squadron, I believe. They had a tactical control, like a tactical squadron shooter. They had a third-person shooter. Army men are just heroes and things like that. And army men are those little green toys. The plot of the game is that there's little green toys and there's little tan toys, and it's green versus the tan, the two colors. And this game has a lot of charm and personality to it. Like, you gather plastic to build new plastic toys because you are controlling small plastic toys that are moving. Like, the scale of the battlefield, it's like I take my table and that's the layout. There's like a mouse controller, there's a keyboard. The layouts are like playthings. It's like a playground. I just used actual figurines, more freedom. More freedom but less gameplay loop. And then you could, you had to harvest plastic to build more units. You could also harvest plastic from the enemies. Salvaging enemy for resources is quite a common mechanic in some games. Supreme Commander does it stellarly as well. And I think I'm also going to play this in B tier for now. Army Man real-time strategy. Okay, they are billions. This is hard to rate because it's kind of a different style of game. This is more of a base building game, but it has more RTS elements. I was very divided between calling this a city building only or more of a strategy, but I feel like the unit control elements justified being a strategy game by itself. But yeah, this is a game where there are billions of enemies, billions of zombies, and you have to build up your base. You have to manage resources, like certain buildings drain some resources, you have to manage your economy, and your goal is snowballing. You have to expand throughout the map to have better economy and set up defenses. Build troops, spread throughout the map, set up defenses, expand as fast as possible, and survive the waves, the hordes of zombies. And there are many games in this concept, not many, there are a few games, but I feel like this is one of the best games at approaching it. I think it's a game that's very good and a solid gameplay experience. I think this may go for A for now. Yeah, kind of like Creeper World, but more... Creeper World is more tower, this is more squadron based. Even most of your towers, you build walls and you send the troops there to defend. This is more troop reliant. Never played it, but I played Age of Nakarada, which was inspired by it, and that was great. Yeah, this is also a game that was very influential. I feel like it's one of those games that spawned a lot of clones. Okay, this is the first Age of Empires. Yeah, this is not any definitive edition. Yeah, this is the first definitive. This is the standard edition of the first Age of Empires. And this pains me because I like this game so much. Like, this is the Age of Empires that I played growing up. A lot of people grew up playing Age of Empires 2. Age of Empires 1 was the one that I played the most during my childhood. But now looking back at missing features and things like that, at how wonky... I'd read the standard AoE 1 over the DE version. Oh, that's hard. But I think I'm going to place Age of Empires 1 and Age of Empires 1 DE both in C tiers. I like them. I like them both. But I think they haven't aged well. Well, if I open Age of Empires 2 nowadays, I can play it and I can enjoy it a lot. These two games, I feel like... I love the flavor. I feel like Romans and Greek and that time period, Egypt, is very charming. I really like that classical period. I prefer it to the medieval period of Age of Empires 2. Yeah, I feel like the games haven't aged well. AoE 1 when it released was an 8-year game. Yeah, but like 30 years have passed and now I don't consider it an 8-year game. I'm considering the game how it stands now. And I feel like that if this was the port of Age of Empires 1 into Age of Empires 2, I would place it in B. I feel like the D of 1 itself, even by lack of support and everything, I'm placing them both in C. Age of Empires 2, if following Laurie's terms of, oh, upon release it was an S, yes, but now I don't think it's an S. I cannot place Age of Empires 2 in the S. For one reason alone. There's one reason that doesn't allow me to play this in S. Farm seeding. When I first played Age of Empires 2, like, tried to get into it competitively, when I figured out how farms work and that you had to reseed them manually, I hated that mechanic so much. I really dislike manual farm reseeding. I think it brings so much clutter to the experience. It brings so much required APM for nothing. It breaks the flow of the game so much. I'm placing this in A tier. I really don't like manual reseed. It's not a matter of being good or bad. I don't like it from a mechanic. I was used to other games like Empire Earth, where farms just have like infinite food. That was a really big downside to me. I think it's a spectacular game. I think it holds out greatly. And thanks for dropping by, Cristella. No worries. I think, for example, the sound effects, sound design is still S tier. I don't think Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is better in terms of sound design. I think it's different. Both are S tier, but they are different. The nostalgic sounds from AoE 2 are amazing, but some gameplay features for me lock it down in an A tier. I cannot... Oh, and by the way, an important distinction. Depending on how remarkable and different the expansions were, some games I've divided by expansion packs, while others are grouped into just a base game. And this is Age of Empires 2. This considers expansions and everything before the... Oh, the lack of online multiplayer, true, is also cumbersome. Yeah, some games had really bad lobbies. That is also quite true. Okay, we have here Age of Mythology Titans and the regular, and I'm going to switch the order, starting with Age of Mythology. Oh, I'm not putting it in C tier. I'm hesitating. Like, Titans will be lower. Age of Mythology, I'm hesitating between A and B tier. I think Age of Mythology is a really good game. I think one important thing is the asymmetry of the seeds was very well done. I think the feel of the game, the vibe, the sound design was spot on. The feel of, oh, I am a god, I'm controlling, like I'm controlling the gods and mythical creatures. How badass you feel like, and even some visual upgrades on the units. That's something that I've always been a fan of. I really enjoyed the Colossus going from bronze to silver to gold, if I remember the thing correctly. The Hydras eating units and gained different heads. Almost all units had an individual ability. I feel like flavor-wise the game was so solid, and the story was super memorable. I will never forget the story of Arcantos. No, you promised me Kronos. I'm also considering the single-player experience. I think I need to put this in A. I need to put Age of Mythology in A tier. And Titans, I'm going to put down in B. Below Age of Empires 2, of course. Oh, and Age of Empires 2. Yeah, I think this makes more sense to me. And this maybe... Yeah. Oh, and now this is the Retold. Retold is hard for me because I've played very little of the Retold. I played so little of the Retold. It didn't charm me. Maybe if I played it more, it would be higher. I think it is a good remake. But I'm going to place it down here. I think it's better than Age of Empires 1 and the remaster, but I don't know, something about the Retold didn't work for me. About the design and everything. And hello Van, welcome to the stream. So, controversial, but this is my Age of Mythology placement. And now we have our first 4X game. Alpha Centauri. This is like Civilization but in space. And this is one of those games where I struggle my memory struggles to catch up. But I think it was quite good. But I think we have better 4X games coming up. And I'm going to place it... maybe here, more towards the middle. Okay, and now we have one that I find really difficult. I'm really struggling here. EU4. if there's for me, it's the best grand strategy game that I've ever played. If there's a grand strategy game that will be nastier, it's going to be EU4. But I'm thinking about who their peers would be, and I'm thinking, is EU4 good enough to stand amidst the other S-tier games? I mean, this is hard for me as well, because if you look at my character design, if you look at my VTuber Papa and Mama are people from the EU4 community, from the Paradox Games community. This is another game where your standpoint influences a lot. Like, are you considering the monetization of the game? If you're considering how the game is monetized before the Battle Pass, not the Battle Pass, the subscription, I feel like the subscription model works really well in EU4. I'm a huge fan. And for those of you who don't know, just to provide some context, EU4 is an old game, base game, had a lot of content, but with the aging of the game, it became very bare bones. Nowadays, playing the base game is an incomplete experience, so they released DLCs. But there's so many DLCs that right now, if you wanted to buy them all, it's like 500 euro, 600 euro, something along that line. It is excruciating. It is a horrible experience to get all of the EU4 DLCs. However, to counteract how that is a huge barrier of entry, they've added a subscription model. You buy the base game, which is cheap, 5 euro maybe, 10 euro, depends on the discount, and then you can have a subscription. You pay like 10 bucks a month, 8 bucks, I don't remember the exact value, and that gives you access to all the DLCs while you're playing the subscription. And I think that model works really well in this game. And for now, this will be an S tier. I think EU4, at least for now, is going to be my first S tier game. I think it deserves it. I think the flavor, the music, all the options. I know that sometimes people complain about some authenticity jank. But at the scale of the game, I think it does so many things right. I feel like so many mechanics interconnect really well. You have so many gameplay options. You can go for your own country. You can go for different start positions. You can really shape the world. There's enough variability to... You're both learning the game from gameplay to gameplay, but there's enough variability that no two games are the same at the same time. Of course, after 3 or 4 thousand hours maybe, but I think EU4 is my first S tier, and now my second S tier, and this is the high, probably going to be the first place of the list for maybe until the end. AoE2D. I think AoE2D, for me right now, it is the best strategy game out there. That's why I stream it so much. If you don't consider something like a board game like Go, AoE2D, like, I stream it, it's not because of the numbers. Maybe StarCraft I would have better numbers, I have no idea. I stream a lot of Age of Empires too, because I think it is the best strategy game out there. I think it has the best gameplay look. I like the competitive scene, the active tournaments. The game itself is really good. Like, they keep adding more quality of life features. The civs are similar, but there's enough civ bonuses to make matchups be different between different civs. I feel like the fact that you have 4 resources works really well. The balancing the economy is a key aspect of the game. The balance between macro and micro. You can get better at some things and worse at the others. Different maps play a huge role in how the gameplay loop develops. I think the unit counters are a bit counterintuitive at first. When I started playing, the fact that skirmishers counter archers blew my mind. I had no, like, from a visual point of view, I'm used to horse counter archer. For me, playing lots of strategy games, that's how it works. Well, scouts don't counter archers. I mean, they can in enough numbers, but they are not the counter to archers, and that blew my mind. I think that's a little bit counterintuitive for new players, but once you get the gist of the game, I think it's the best RTS experience out there right now. And for me, RTS is my favorite genre within the strategy games, so this is number 1. No surprises here. No surprises at all. Age of Empires 3... I'm thinking either high C or low B. I really enjoyed when the game released a lot of its mechanics. I think, for example, the city that you have and you upgrade, The cards are fun in a single player aspect, not as much in a competitive multiplayer, I think, but in a single player aspect, the cards provide a fun variety. The destructibility of buildings is really nice. I feel like as a single player experience, Age of Empires 3 is very good. I think Age of Empires 3 is kind of better than the remaster. Yeah, I think Age of Empires 3 deserves a low B tier. I think it was a good game. And for me, like any B tier is good. C tier can start to be questionable. D tier is bad. If a game is in D tier, the sound design, water, yeah, and destroying buildings. Destroying buildings in Age of Empires 3, that cannot be overstated. To destroy a building in Age of Empires 3, it was so rewarding. Seeing the chunks fall off, having a cannon, boom, and then the cannonball hits the building and we see a chunk flying off, it was so cool. Maybe you can go higher. Maybe you'll be my best B tier for now. I'll still rearrange this later on. And the confusion, why do a culverin when I can do a bigger cannon through? I don't remember a lot of the details of the game, like the unit comps and everything, but I had fun. And that's the most important thing. I also remember the trading, some camp mechanics, like going with a scout to get camps, that was fun. And now Age of Wonders. This is a long-standing franchise by now. I think the last one that released was Age of Wonders 4. I played the first one first. This is the kind of game where you have an overmap, you have a city where you're building armies, and then armies collide and you go into the battle, and it's kind of a tactical grid where you move your units around, you cast abilities. I started Age of Wonders 4, it was fun, then I forgot to continue. Yeah, I feel like nowadays I don't have enough time for these games. I've played the entire campaign of Age of Wonders 1. I think you could play with Light Elves and Dark Elves. I think those were the two main campaigns, if I remember correctly. And this is a game that I played so long ago. I don't know when it released, but I probably played it close to release. I played this a long time ago, but I remember playing the whole thing and enjoying it. Maybe even more than Age of Empires, but I don't think it's enough to be an A tier. I'm not allowed to say I don't have enough time when I look at the times I sink into other games. Understandable. Completely understandable, a fair take. Okay, and our list is starting to take shape. And I don't see anything that I massively disagree with. I see nothing that I scream, oh no, how did I put this here? I need to change it. I see no need for a huge double take. It seems all very fair for now. And next game, let me just check one thing here real quick. Yeah, next thing, we have Ashes of the Singularity. And while some of these games are very old, Ashes of the Singularity is very recent. And I think last time I played it, I think they destroyed the multiplayer for it. We were talking about how easy it is to get into a multiplayer. I only played this game multiplayer, and last time I tried to queue up, it was like, oh, server's gone, game gone, you can't queue up. It was very odd, and I searched online, it was like, yep, you're doomed, you cannot play this anymore. But I had fun. This is a game where you... it's about controlling points. The map has several points. It is an RTS with base building, and the points you control are kinda your resource. Yeah, stop killing games, I was thinking about that as well! It is a very stop killing games related thing. If one game goes to D tier, that means for Pro 8 players. Yes, and do not worry, D tier is empty, but I have some guaranteed D tier games coming up. There is a game that I will very gladly place in the D tier. There is a game here that I hate with a passion. But Ashes of Singularity, you build not spaceships, kind of more like tanks or airplanes. It reminds me a bit of Supreme Commander, but more controlling for map control, and the map is kind of interconnected resources points. You also have the massive ships that you can build like late game units. They're not ships, they're more like, as I said, futuristic land tanks, robots and things like that. And I think the gameplay experience was really solid. I'm thinking if I place this even in A. If I consider that the servers, that the stop killing games thing, I would place it in C because this is a game that requires multiplayer. I think the gameplay experience is good enough. I need to play it more. My gameplay experience was good enough to place this in A, in my opinion. Ooh. Now these are games that I enjoyed a lot. And let me grab the other one. There's 3. There's the expansion pack as well. Here comes the fun. Yeah, exactly. I think I added the expansion pack. Yeah, the game with a very short name. The Lord of the Rings, The Battle for Middle-earth 2, The Rise of the Witch King. Here it is. And these games, for me, they are the best Lord of the Rings game. There are other good Lord of the Rings games. Return of the King was great. Some other games, but for me this was peak. And when I talk about strategy games, there are many factors into it. One of them is the vibe, the immersion. And for example, in Battle for Middle-earth 2, running horses into a group of archers, like, that's so satisfying. Playing with the elves, playing with Mirkwood archers, having Silverthorn arrows, I think that's the name, the upgrade, and you see the entire hordes of orcs flying. Then you have the heroes that you upgrade, you have the powers that you gain through the ring and through the start of Elendil and things like that you unlock massive powers like unleashing the Balrog of Morgoth. I think the game was well balanced, and in terms of fun, it was so good. This is also one of those base building games where you build the base and then build an army and the armies fight. The resources are also require expansion, because if you build resource buildings too close to each other, their efficiency goes down. So this is a game that rewards expansion. Most good RTSs reward expansion. The main difference for me between Age of Empires and most of these games is that these games reward expansion right from the get-go. While in Age of Empires, quick expansion is not rewarded. These games are a fight for territory since day one. Both Ashes of Singularity and Battle for Middle-earth. The first one and the second one, yeah, and they are available with community client. They have great mod support, and I wish they had like a good Steam release. Last time I tried to play one of these, it was with a client, but things were not going that well in terms of connecting. I had a lot of connecting issues. But I prefer the second one. The first one, the bases are interesting. Some of the mechanics, you start with the base and you have a limited number of buildings on your original base. Like there's building slots in the map. 2, the construction is more free. You can build buildings everywhere. You can build as many buildings as you want. And I really like the fortress upgrades and things like that. There's so many routes to play this game. There's so many levels of upgrades. You're upgrading your army, you're upgrading each individual battalion, they're gaining ranks, you're upgrading your heroes, you're gaining powers, you're improving your economy, your buildings are level up. And of course, it is Lord of the Rings. It is probably the first, probably one of the best, like, Lord of the Rings is the best fantasy world in my opinion. It is well remarked and loved for a reason. So their job is already made easier. I highly prefer the first one, though the Conquering mode, yeah, War of the Ring was a fun mod as well. And I'm thinking, are you gonna rank Fable? No, because Fable is not a strategy game. This is only strategy games. And I see that Kane's Wrath is one of your favorite games. Yeah, Kane's Wrath, it is here as well, upcoming. But I'm going to do this one at a time. And Battle for Middle-earth 1, yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm thinking, I think the expansion added enough to be considered maybe even better than the standard game. Do you go? I think you deserve the S tier. I think sadly there's no good Steam client nowadays, and things like there's no, I just press one button and I have the game on Steam. But I think it feels correct for me to have these three at the top. And Battle for Middle Earth 1, I'm going to play it as IB. High B tier. I enjoyed it, but I unlike Lori, I prefer the second one. Yeah, the story was really good in both of them, and I kind of agree that the first one was better, but I had a much better gaming experience with the second one, Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith through. I think this feels like a good S tier for strategy games. I think this deserves the S tier. It's very different. Like, these three games are all very different from each other. This is You Feel Like a Badass. This is Grand Strategy, the game for history nerds. And this is Age of Empires. And I played not Red Alert 1, I played Red Alert 2. I don't even remember the story of the second. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Okay, now we have two interesting games. Black and White. Black and White is not the first, but one of the most popular God games. And I think it is, in my opinion, maybe the best God game. Black and White one. I really enjoyed that game. Full of personality. The fact that you use your cursor to cast miracles, and I still have... Is this Miracle 1? I think this is Armageddon. I still have memory of some of these. Maybe this is opening the menu. Like, the fact that you move your cursor in patterns to cast miracles is so cool. The fact that you have the creature that you need to train. You can control a little bit of your village and you gain power through worship, but you are not in direct control of what is happening, as it should happen in a God game, and you need to expand your... convert other believers to you, either by evil means, either by throwing fireballs, and the throwing mechanic as well, grabbing a stone and throwing it with the mouse. I think the controls were spot on. I think even your hand turning good or evil depending on the decisions that you make, your creature always also changing. I feel like the story was good, the missions, the way they progress into each other. They introduced the gameplay elements well. I remember Nemesis, I think that was the evil god, and then you lose your creature in one of the missions. Black and White is a really good game. I think this is one of the games that I may stream one of these days. I am surprised that there are people who do not know this game. You have to cast Miracle Food to keep your granary up, and you don't only, like, that spends a lot of faith. You can also go for, like, grabbing trees and things like that. Never seen it. This is a really good game, in my opinion. This is a hidden gem. And this is a franchise that sadly is kinda gone. And I'm thinking, I don't think I can put it in S tier. Sorry, chatter, I know you want this in S tier. But definitely a high A. And that's already quite good. This right now is still top 5. The details on the game are outstanding, I agree. Like, and I've mentioned it twice, I'm going to mention it 3 times. The way you control things. Like, the way that you throw rocks, they were so creative with... You're a hand, and you're doing what a hand can do. You're the hand of God in this game. And the way that you control the hand, the way you interact with the environment, the way that you can be good or evil, I think they nailed a lot of things down. I think you don't... When you're playing, so many things are well done that you don't even think about it. They just work. And I think the more you take a step back and reflect on what this game did when it did it, the more you realize how much of a masterpiece it is. And that's why... not D, but C. The sequel missed a lot of the marks that the first one hit. The first one, everything felt like an interconnected experience. It felt like you were... Like, everything has so much flavor. Second one feels like kind of an arcade game. It feels more navigating menus. It loses so much of the charm of the first one. Like, the first one feels like a complete experience. Everything interconnected, everything smooth. The second one feels like an arcade version. It feels like a watered down version of the first one. Has better graphics and that's it. I feel like every gameplay aspect of the second one is worse. I did not remember having a good experience with the second one. I think maybe nowadays I wouldn't be this harsh, but after playing the first one, you go to the second one, and it's so underwhelming. It's the same concept, creature, gods, miracles, but the first one is a lot better. I still have the box of this game. I mean, most of them, I still have their boxes lying around. Some of them are kind of disintegrated, lost to time. Ooh. The first, let me grab, I won't grab all StarCrafts, but let me grab StarCraft 1 and StarCraft Brood War. StarCraft! The first Blizzard game we have here today. Probably the most influential RTS of all time. The father of esports. MOBA has a video game genre a lot of people associate with Dota. Dota was one of the first, but the first MOBAs were StarCraft mods. The storytelling in StarCraft is outstanding, and StarCraft 1 still has a big competitive scene up to this day. Like, the factions are incredible. The Terran Zerg Protoss is one of the best trifecta of factions of all time. The story, how old is it now? 34 years? Maybe? Not sure, 34, 35? I think it's from 90. And hello, Addictive Me, Brood War S tier. I'm thinking, like, this will be either S or A, no doubt both of them. And hello, Pedro. And yes, I didn't play a lot of Total War, but I played Rome Total War, so it is here on the tier list. It is the only Total War game that I played enough to be on the tier list. This either S or A. Yeah, I don't play a lot of Total War. Meta still shifts constantly in Brood War with the last balance patch being in 2001. True. Is this... It still plays great nowadays, in my opinion. This is being really difficult. I think this is high A. And I think I need to place this in S. I need to play Warhammer Total War as well. I think I need to place Brood War in S tier. I think I have to. It is so good. Both of them are amazing, but Brood War just completes the experience. The balance was weird in base StarCraft. I agree. The gameplay experience, like the roster of characters that are amazing. Jim Raynor, Kerrigan. We had what was the Phoenix from the Protoss, and not Phoenix. I'm pulling a blank. But yeah, really good. I think there's a reason why it's so influential and it's so amazing. This is, of course, for those of you who don't know, Tassadar. I'm not thinking about Tassadar, but Tassadar is also great. I'm thinking about the one who falls and then returns in Legacy of the Void. I wanted to remember his name. And then there's the arcade mode. Yeah, I'm getting to StarCraft 2. Don't worry, Lori. Don't worry. I know StarCraft 2 very well. Before getting into Age of Empires, my main game was StarCraft 2. I was just below Master rank. I reached High Diamond. So I remember StarCraft 2 quite well. And there's the co-op. Oh, but that's later. It's not base StarCraft 2. Age of Empires 4. This is a hard one. I feel like I need to play this more. I played this on release. And on release, I would have placed it on a C because the meta was really bad, in my opinion. I just kept seeing Siege all the time. I think things have improved a lot. I think the story mode was very good. I think the animation... I really like the way they tell the stories, mixing up with real life elements. I don't think it's above Age of Empires 3. Yeah, it has great atmosphere, I agree. I got so frustrated at my ranked experience when it started. I think it's a high B. Maybe I'm thinking above or below. I had a better time with Age of Empires 3 for sure, but I need to be aware that my experience was very hindered by how I played. I think I'm going to place it above but adjacent. I'm actually not a fan of StarCraft 2 weirdly. The movement of graphics are just a bit too foldy for me. It's like the pacing is too good, if that's even possible. With turn timers and locking units in yeah, true. But yeah, I think 4, I'm placing it here. This is a game. This in the future, and if I replay it, I don't think it can be S, but it can easily be a high A tier. But based on my most recent experience, this for me is a B tier. And for me, StarCraft 2, I really love StarCraft 2, but I also get it. Some of these games, when you're used to the previous one and then the new one releases, it can be frustrating. And you're so used to sometimes being too much of a fan of a franchise can harm you the enjoyment of the sequel. And now we have, I'm not going to get all Command and Conquers together, like I did with some of the DLCs. I think there's enough variety within them to justify them being separate. And we start with Tiberium Noir and Kane's Wrath. And these are probably some of the Command and Conquer games that I've played the most. There's also 3 factions. 3 factions is a common topic here. StarCraft is 3 factions. I'm not going to find any other that is 3 factions. Oh, Age of Mythology was 3 factions on release. And Command & Conquer, you play with GDI, the Global Defense Initiative, the Brotherhood of Nod, or the Screen, which are the alien invaders. The campaign of this game is so good. It's one of my favorite campaigns of all time. The storytelling is through actors, and for people who have played, for example, if you've played Red Alert 3, you associate the storytelling with a lot of cheese. They're very cheesy, and they're very exaggerated cheesiness. Command & Conquer, the previously, was not super cheesy. It had some cheese moments, but the game took itself seriously, and I remember Kane is such a cool character. Kane as a concept and as the leader of the Nod, in terms of lore, the game is, there's a mineral that came from space, which is Tiberium, and humanity kind of splits into 2 factions. The GDI think Tiberium is a threat, it must be contained, it will harm humanity, and the Brotherhood of Nod believes Tiberium is kind of like a gift, a blessing. We'll escape to the only place that is free from capitalism. Space! Yes! That is Red Alert 3. That is not serious. But this one was serious. Kane is an iconic character. Even showed up in Red Alert 1 in the communists, the Soviet ending. And the gameplay, it's, you build harvesters, units, like the building in Command & Conquer is very unique. How you recruit things. You have a panel on the right of the screen and you queue up units and they just pop up at your production building. You keep spending resources. If you're out of units, your production stops. It's not the only game that does it, but for a regular RTS game, like Age of Empires and things like that, I compare them to the regular RTSs, it is quite peculiar. And even plumping down buildings, you build them in the queue and you just plump it down and building complete. You have some interesting dynamics. For example, I remember the tank in Kane's Wrath that you can keep adding units in to upgrade it. The huge tank from the GDI. You have the robots from the Nod that could grab tanks and get different upgrades depending on the tanks that they have grabbed. You have garrison buildings fighting for map control. There's so many elements the game does well. Air units are cool. Base building is very cool. The different base defenses. The asymmetry of these games is splendid. The Marv, yes, the Marv, and that's from the expansions. I really enjoyed playing the Marv. I was a GDI player, and the Marv felt so cool. Screen, the alien, the third faction, which is the alien invasion itself. Screen Air Force, it's such a threat. They are so good with Air Fleet. The ultimate weapons, like the like with the screen, I remember it was a storm. I don't remember why. I haven't played this in such a long time. But this for me is sitting there. I don't think it's S tier. But I think maybe it is a high A tier. I admit it, I hate mechas. They don't work in any medium. Oh, I really like... I like mechas. Yeah, I think for me, Command and Conquer, and I think both of them are really good for different reasons. I feel like the base game had a better story. Gain's Wrath had the better gameplay and more cool units and cool stuff. I'm placing them together. And I think just below Age of Empires 2 and above Gothic Armada is a good placement. This lineup is looking so strong. I don't like looking at this part of the screen. Looking at this part of the screen fills me with happiness. Okay. Now comes a hard one. For those of you who don't know, Command & Conquer has so many games. It's such a long, well-beloved franchise for many people. You have even RTS, first-person shooter games in Command & Conquer, or third-person. There are so many Command & Conquer games. And even though Red Alert is kinda more famous in terms of mainstream, I feel like the Tiberian saga, like Tiberian Sun, Kane's Wrath and everything, for me it is the real core of Command & Conquer. You have other games like Generals and things like that. I consider those spin-offs. For me, the real core of Command & Conquer was the Tiberian saga. That is the real Command & Conquer for me. That is the peak experience. And we have Command & Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight. And gosh darn it. They tried to innovate. They tried to reinvent a genre. But this was not the right game to do it. The storytelling, which was very compelling in other games, is very underwhelming. The story completely missed the mark for me. Kane's character was quite butchered, in my opinion. It became a lot less mysterious and a lot more bland. The gameplay, in other games it could work. It's not base building. They removed all base building aspects. This is not a Command & Conquer game. This is something completely different, and this for me, this game is like the franchise was going downhill and this is like the nail in the coffin. This was such an underwhelming experience. This game, I don't care which games you have to follow, this will be the last one of the list. For me, this was my worst experience. I really did not like this game. I dislike this game with a passion. This one... Okay, this for me, it is easy A tier. I think both this and the first one. I really like Sins of a Solar Empire. I think it's unique. It is space colonization, huge battles. You have 3 factions that, like, the soundtrack changes. You're playing with Vasari and they're just like, speak, what is your bidding, master? You play with the Advent and it's like, we live in harmony, peace and happiness. And like, your gameplay experience is completely different. For example, they have interplanetary weapons. If you play with the Advent in the first one, it's like, oh, I have an intergalactic nuke that is not a nuke, it does not destroy, it spreads culture. It's like, get cultured, idiots! I'm bombarding you with anime! And converting your planets into my own. The battles look amazing. I think the gameplay elements are really nice. The fact that, kind of like in Warcraft 3, you pay more upkeep the more units you have, like having a bigger standing army harms your economy, so it is a balance. When do I shift more towards military or more towards economy? You have 2 or 3 tech trees that are very complete and influence how you play a lot. Ships counter each other. You have the capital ships, and you also have the star bases and the Titans, and there's a lot of that to each and every one of these systems. To planetary exploration, there's a lot of that. To how you manage your fleet. So this is above Ashes. Above, is it above Command and Conquer? I think it is. I think this is not a game for everyone. I think a lot of... And the pacing, this is the slowest paced RTS I've ever played. If you're frustrated by having to micro a lot of things, if you want your games to be, I don't want micro, I want to send my army and they fight, I want to take macro decisions. I don't want micro. This is macro slow paced the game. Macro is very important in this game. Deciding where you have your army station, where you move, when do you attack. This is micro and it is very slow paced. You can do a little bit of micro, but I think the game is slow paced in a very good way. It provides a really unique gameplay experience. So Sins of a Solar Empire for me, quite high in the A tier. I streamed it quite a bit, I need to stream it more, for sure. Okay, now we have a bunch of civilizations. Another 4X game. Wait, do I have 2, 4? I also have 3. Do I join? Nah, I will do them later on. Let's keep the order. Civilization 2. Or do I get... I'm going to get them all. Feels weird to split civilizations up. Civilization 3. 4. I played all of them. Empire at War. Oh, I played Empire at War. I think I forgot them. I think that's one of the games that I forgot to put here. But I also didn't play it that much. Okay, let me see. Where's Civilization 5? I also played Civ 5. Did I forgot to add Civ 5? 4, 6. Because that's something I need to fix. If I forgot Civ 5... Civ 5 is probably my highest one. Oh, it's here, it's here. The cover just looked different. Okay. Nice. Yeah, Civ 5, for me, it's the best one. There's some mechanics from Civ 2 and 3 that I really miss. One thing that I really liked, and it was kind of more of a flavor thing, was the upgrading the palace, and people did a celebration. You had your own palace that you could upgrade. It is inconsequential, it's just a visual thing, but I like those things in the first one. And I think 2 to 5, it was always uphill, and I think all of them were good. I think I cannot place any of them in C tier. I think 2 was maybe more towards the bottom here. I can adjust them later on. 3, oh, when we are starting to grow the tier list. 3 is above Age of Wonders, yes. 4, now this is A. 4 is A tier without a doubt. And 5 for me is the best one. For me it was the best Civ experience. Maybe this is standard Age of Empires 2. Since this is the best 4X game of all time, and for me this is not the best RTS of all time, it is this one. I'm going to play Civ 5, even maybe above Black and White. Even maybe... I think here. I think Civ 5 deserves currently 6th spot. Oh, I haven't played Hearts of Iron yet. I haven't played Hearts of Iron. This is only games that I've played. I've played quite a few games, I haven't played all of them. I've not played Hearts of Iron, sadly. And hello, Clanker, welcome. I think I've already said hello. But better to say it twice than no times. But yeah, Civ 5... I think this is a good here. I think this is the best A tier. I think Civ 5 deserves this place. I think Civ 5 is a spectacular game. Civ 6. Then probably more towards the bottom of A tier. Still very good. And Civ 7. Sadly, I don't think it's a C. I think it is a good game. I think some of the hate this game has is justified. Of other parts of the game, the hate are very exaggerated. But I think this has potential to improve a lot more. But for now, I'm placing it here. I think it can be a lot better. I've been told Darkest Tower is the best mod of returning to its own official game. Also cheapest potatoes. Ooh. Yeah, my problem right now, someone was asking me, oh, do you want to play this or that game? I have so many games to play. Okay. This 2 are an interesting case. This is a case that I need to dive into. Command and Conquer Generals. And why is this an interesting case? First, let's start on the bright side. Like, in gameplays wise, it has so many good things. The factions are very asymmetrical. All of them have different ways of gathering resources. All of them, and the three factions are the USA, the US of A, China, and the GLA, the Global Liberation Army. Though this is set in kind of a realistic setting, set in kind of modern warfare, more in our times. You have tanks, airships, MiGs, and things like that, a little bit of creativity as well. And all factions, for example, have a way to generate passive income. The GLA have a building called a black market. The US of A have supply drops that generate passive income. With China, you can build computer hackers that you can spread them around and they are generating passive income. So all civs have unique weapons as well, scud launchers, ion cannon. There's a mechanic similar to Lord of the Rings, where you gain power in Lord of the Rings from battling. You are rewarded to battle more because you unlock star powers. Here you get promotions, and you get better abilities with the promotions. The units designs are amazing. Base building is also very different from each faction. For example, with the GLA, when you destroy a building, a tunnel remains, and if you do not destroy the tunnel, the building will be rebuilt. Another mechanic, there's so many things this game does right. There's poison damage or fire damage or radioactive damage, and they can just melt infantry right away. With China, you have some flamethrower tanks. You can put like a line of flamethrower tanks, and they're spreading their flames all around. Looks magnificent, it looks superb. And as I said, sometimes we have the fantasy in video games of we want things to look cool, we want things to feel cool. This game does it. Now, in terms of gameplay, I think this game does a lot of things very well. And it is a game that has a lot of cult following. Now, what is the negative? I've been saying a lot of positives, but this is a game that I would recommend almost to no one. It reminds me, for example, one of my favorite anime, Made in Abyss. I'm a huge fan of Made in Abyss. I recommend it to no one. Why do I not recommend this game? It has a lot of... how do I put this? Early 2000 era humor, and most of it has aged so poorly. Okay, basically a lot of statements in the game are so racist. I think I need to use that word. Like the portrayals, for example, yeah, China using hackers, that's funny, but then the voice lines and things like that, there's good voice lines. Like, I remember when you play with America, you select the builder, made in the US of A. This is true American power and things like that. And even with China, this is the Overlord tank. And there's a lot of cool voice lines. Seek and destroy when you select the battle plans with the USA. There's a lot of cool voice lines, but there are so many voice lines that are like... It reaches a point where it's not comedy anymore, it's just flat out racism. So this is a game I would never stream because of that. Like, a lot of its remarks and everything are really, like, for example, Red Alert can do it a little bit, but I feel like it doesn't pass the line. I think this game really passes the line. So, do it for... No. I think this game passes the line, but the gameplay is so good. I think this is one of the best strategy. I can't put it in A. I'm going to put it in high B tier, but if not for the controversial aspects, I would place it higher. This would, if not for the controversial aspects, I would place it in A tier, but I cannot separate the game from its writing. 0 Hours is better in my opinion. It just adds more generals, more stuff to it. Like the voice lines and everything, each faction has a lot of personality, there's a lot of good stuff. But yeah, it pains me because I wish they made a new version that is more Okay, Red Alert 2 and Yuri's Revenge. Bangers. Absolute bangers. I think, like, these two are a hallmark of the Command & Conquer franchise. I think these two are maybe the most popular ones, and for good reason. Red Alert 3 is also very popular, but I don't consider it nearly as good. Red Alert 2 and Yuri's Revenge were such good games. The writing, Tanya here, Boris with the Russians. Kirov reporting. Conscript reporting. Command & Conquer is such... Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 is so good. So much personnel. And this is only, Kratos, this is only RTS games. Not all Command & Conquer games are RTS games. Can you recommend a game for someone that loves Fable 1 and 2? Oh, probably I have recommendations, but my mind is not there at all at the moment. I'm flooded by strategy games right now. I cannot recommend right from the get-go. But please ask me that question. I see you often here in chat. Please ask me that question again in the future. Because I would love to, but right now I'm deep into strategy games. Yeah, Red Alert 2 and 3, not 2 and 3, 2 and Yuri's Revenge. The story was good. The voice lines were really good. Like, feeling a battle tank with Chrono Legionnaires, peak. The mechanic of Chrono Legionnaires, they can teleport, they do not walk, but when they teleport, they get frozen in time, and the further you teleport, the more time they remain frozen. And they do not fire at enemies, they freeze them in time and then disintegrate them. There's the super weapons like the Duke and the weather control device, and even the half super weapons like Iron Curtain and Chronosphere. Iron Curtain makes your tanks invulnerable. Chronosphere, you can teleport tanks, and Chronosphere is so clever. You can teleport tanks or infantry, use it in infantry, they cannot handle the transportation, they are all deleted. Use it on tanks, you can send your tanks to your opponent's base, or for example, you can transport your opponent's tanks into the water. It's such a smart super weapon because it has flexibility. It's only one effect, teleportation, but its uses are limitless. You have like the prism tanks and the prism weapons with the allies. This is allies versus Soviets. This setting. You had like the Desolators with the Soviet, Tesla tanks and Tesla troopers. Oh, the Tesla coils. The Tesla stuff is so cool in the Soviets, and I think this for me, Kane's Wrath and everything is peak Command & Conquer experience, but I rate this even higher. And Yuri's Revenge for me, it completed, like, it was two factions. Yuri's Revenge includes a third one, Yuri, who is like focused in mind control and a lot of weird shenanigans like floating your opponent's troops. Spies were also a good thing. You can disguise your troops as enemy troops with spies and then steal resources or techs. There's a bit of shenanigans. For example, I don't like, in terms of competitive play, some aggressive engineer plays. In terms of, if we're talking about the meta, if you're getting technical, there's some meta PvP plays that I do not enjoy in this game. But I think like the single player experience and the campaign is superb. I think for me these are the highest rated Command & Conquer games. These are a little bit behind, but this is... And you can see that Command & Conquer games, basically, you see that Command & Conquer is good by the number of bald people. Command & Conquer, I don't know why, but Command & Conquer has really cool bald people. It is one of the things that I've always associated with Command & Conquer. Yuri is a great villain. Kane is a great character, and you can see from the covers here. Okay, Tiberian Sun is a spectacular game. It's like it is the prequel to Command & Conquer 2, I think. Low A tier. I played it more recently. I think it still holds up very well. You can see that it's old when you're playing it, but I think it holds up pretty well. The story was good. I remember... what's the name of that? Cabal! The AI Cabal was only the beginning. The story of these games is very compelling. And this is... I feel like this was the beginning of the ramp up of Command and Conquer. Red Alert 1 was already great. This unlocked all of the formulation. This is the base ground for these games to be as good as they were. But this is A tier. A tier is getting B. I'm going to place it high B. I don't think it is an A tier game. Difficult. Like, you deserve your place there, Kane. Okay. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Ring. This is not that known of a game. I bought this at the store. Yes, people used to go outside and buy video games at the store, and you didn't have access to the internet sometimes, and you bought games without knowing what they were. Can you imagine that world? You can't check a YouTuber to know their opinion. You can check tier lists. And I saw, okay, Lord of the Rings game, I want it. I had no idea what this game was. And this is basically Warcraft reskin into Lord of the Rings. It was fun, but I don't think it's that spectacular. I think it's basically Warcraft, but a little bit worse and Lord of the Rings flavored. I played it. I don't think it's popular at all. I think it's a very unknown game. Yeah, Warcraft of the Rings. That is if you googled Lord of the Rings, War of the Rings, that is exactly what this game is. Okay, now I'm going to get the standard. I have a lot of them spread out throughout here. Let's get Base, Stronghold, and Stronghold Crusader. And this is such a beloved franchise. And I'm part of the ones that love it. I warn you. Are you warning me to not place it high or to place it high? Because I will place it high. If Crusader is higher than the base game, it is difficult. It is difficult. I think the story, the campaign mode is better. I really like the Crusaders map mode. I think some Crusaders things were kind of gimmicky. I do not like you can spam to get a whole bunch of units. I'm like, this one, I'm actually actively thinking about it right now. I really like the map of Crusaders. The map that you fought was really rewarding. I do not like the recruiting units with gold without having population. That mechanic feel like it converted the game too much into an arcade. And I'm thinking now, is Stronghold an S? I don't think Stronghold is an S. I don't think I really like the game. The music. The granaries are nearly empty, sire. I still remember playing Stronghold. And the campaign with Rat, Pig, Snake, and Wolf. Yes, those were the 4 characters. Stronghold is the S tier of the C genre, but in general it's just a good A. I completely agree with that remark. The Runescape. Yeah, Stronghold can go here. I think this, and I will agree. Crusaders is equally good, but maybe here. In Crusaders, like for example, the Assassins in Crusaders. I remember the Assassin Unique. It is cool, but it feels very gimmicky. While in Stronghold, things felt like everything matched. Crusaders felt more gamey, and some games gain from being more gamey. In Stronghold, I feel like it sometimes broke the immersion a little bit. And like the sound design, like phew, phew, raining arrows, and even the choice between putting crossbows that have more pierce damage but less range, or archers up in the walls, sieging castles or getting sieged was amazing. The city building aspects. Stronghold Legends is at E tier. I have Stronghold Legends. We'll get to that. I have Stronghold 2, I don't have expansions. I have Stronghold 3 as well. We'll get to those. We'll get to... Do not worry, I'm not going to do them together. Okay, Driftland the Magic Revival. This game should be paired with Majesty. Because I played this game because I was searching for a more modern Majesty, and Majesty is better, spoiler alert. And where's the expansion to Majesty? Here. I know it looked wonky. And these games are an interesting take on the genre. In these games, you do not control units actively. You place buildings, your builders go build, they say, "I serve with pleasure, more gold, your majesty." And then you recruit heroes like mages, rangers, warriors. This is a game that, in my mind, I played very young. It defined a lot of what the fantasy genre was. I know what a warrior is, and an archer, and a rogue. I know those classes from Majesty. Some people learn it from D&D, some people learn it from this or that game. I learned it from Majesty. Only played Driftland for maybe 1 hour, no clue why I didn't stick. Yeah, Driftland is very similar to Majesty. How do these games work? You recruit units and then they do their thing. You can cast some spells, you can set banners for the units to explore, you can set bounties, but the units have their own lives. You do not micromanage them. You can create incentives for them, for example, you create a market for them to spend money, then they spend money, and that they gain on adventures. You, as the Majesty, you have taxes on it, and then you can build new buildings, recruit new heroes, but you don't micro them at all. They just have their own lives, and different heroes have different personalities. You want to scout the map? You get rangers, they love scouting. You want to defend your base? Get warriors, they love to stay near the base and be guardians of the people. You want people that are easy to control? Well, rogues are a little bit greedy. Set a reward and the rogues will do your bidding right away. That's how the game works. You pick the classes, you want units that are amazing but melt right away, glass cannons. You play with wizards. Wizards in Majesty are the coolest thing of all time. I'm melting! The lines when they die, or my power grows when they're leveling up. Like, I can say how memorable a game is by how many voice lines I have memorized. In Oblivion, I know a lot of them. In Majesty, I know almost all voice lines of almost all characters. Praise Doris! I join the wild spirits. Where is the goal? I remember every single one of the lines of every single character in Majesty. Driftland is very similar. You recruit units, you have a little bit of spells, you manage your economy and things like that. But I think Driftland, the main difference between Driftland and Magic is that both of them rely on building up. The gameplay loop is kind of repetitive in a way. But I feel like Driftland, because of you having to connect islands and everything, it is like, flavor-wise, it is impeccable. Flavor-wise, I really like how the world looks. You have islands, you're building bridges to islands. The concept is amazing, but when you start repeating the game, I think that concept fights the game itself, because these games are supposed to be games that you play a lot of sessions, they are very repetitive, and the concept of the islands makes the repetitiveness feel more of a chore. I think that's why Driftland fails where Majesty succeeded. I feel like Driftland has more steps in the repetition, while Majesty, your repetition is more limited to less things, and also Majesty has better voice lines and more flavor, but I feel like Driftland has more repetition. So I think Majesty and the expansion is just more content for the base game, so both of them will be placed quite high. Right below Stronghold, in my opinion. Or above, nah, right below Stronghold. I feel like I can place it above. I would love, because Majesty can be played multiplayer, but mode itself is not that great. You just place a huge bounty on your opponent's castle and their own units will destroy the castle itself. I would love for Majesty to have a new game with all the base mechanics and have new multiplayer things. For example, we now have Uma Musume with the training. I would love for a Majesty format where you build your empire, like 20 minutes, build your empire up. Then you have your top 10 heroes, and your opponent has top 10 heroes, not euros, that's money. And they fight in an arena, and whoever wins, wins the game. I think they are cool. Like maybe as a passive multiplayer or not actively fighting, you're fighting against the replay of someone else. Like in those deck building games. I feel like if I could have a game studio, I would try to reinvent Majesty, and I would like to explore a lot of ideas. I really like Majesty. Majesty is awesome. In terms of personal taste, this would be an S tier without a doubt. I think this is a superb game. It is very unique. If you're a strategy fan, this is not the cup of tea for everyone. People who like Majesty all love Majesty. You don't just like it a little bit, you love it. And I know some people who love Majesty. I think the name is also harms the game. Naming is very important, and Majesty, it's not a huge, memorable name. It's not like Europa Universalis, or the good old, the Lord of the Rings of Battle for Middle-earth, The Rise of the Witch King. Yes. Very short names. And Driftland, I think, sadly, I played it quite a bit. I think I have almost all achievements, but that's because of how much I like Majesty, but I think it's high C tier. This game, I got it as a gift. I remember that you can customize units. I remember that it was peculiar, and it felt a little bit gimmicky. I don't remember a lot, and that's usually a bad sign. I got it as a gift, and it was strange. Maybe, I think this is a game, looking back at it, that maybe did some unique stuff that fell flat. That's a lot of games on the list. Yes, I'm speedrunning. No, I'm not speedrunning, we still have a bit to go. But I also don't want to spend too much time on each game. I'm going as it feels natural, but hello Zumo. Yeah, but this game was a gift, and I feel like it innovated a lot, but it didn't land a lot of the innovations. It felt weird. It's a game I would like to revisit. And now comes an easy choice. Empire Earth. This is a game that I could go on for ages. I talk about how my metric for how good a game is how many voice lines I can remember. The gods will tremble. The earth will tremble. Once volt to the skies. The world is not enough. Yes, I remember all of the voice lines from Empire Earth. It was such a good game. And for me, this is a very easy S tier. I take no... It did a lot of things really well for the moment. You play it nowadays and it's like, oh, a game from this time, you can already select units like this. You can all, forming groups is very intuitive. Rally points are very intuitive. It feels way more modern than it is in terms of gameplay. And we talk about the fantasy of the game, how it feels to be in control. I remember all the voice lines, grunts like a rhino. Those are the prehistorical. Those are the prehistorical warriors. Because this game starts in prehistorical times. Your first units are like Clubman, Rock Thrower, Stickface. You have priests and prophets as well. The prophets when they're casting their plagues or creating volcanoes or typhoons. This is very similar to Age of Empires in terms of gameplay loop. One of the differences is that you can saturate resources. You want 6 villagers on each gold and iron mine, for example. Farms have limitless food, and so it changes a bit the resources, and most resource deposits, depending on the format, are limitless. So fighting for resource deposit just means that you're gaining more income linearly. It's not like gold runs out. It can run out. It depends on the format you are playing. So there's a lot of customizability there. And you have 5 resources: gold, iron, stone, wood, and food. Kind of work like Age of Empires. And the game evolves throughout history. In fact, the opening cinematic starts throughout history. Few were given the chance to control the destiny of their fellow mans, generals and captains. And this game goes throughout history. You start in the prehistoric age with clubmans and sticks and stones may break your bones, and you end up with robots in the future age. The game has 14 ages in the base game: prehistoric age, stone age, copper age, bronze age, iron age, medieval age, no, dark age, medieval age, imperial age? No, I think there's more. Yeah, there's imperial age, there's... I don't remember if there's the Renaissance. There's World War One age, World War Two age, modern World War age, then digital age, and it finishes in nano age, and then it continues into robots. Yeah, and like in the scenario editor is huge in these games. Everyone had a good time, like, I'm going to put a robot down, like a Zeus, they were one of the strongest robots, and then put 50 rock throwers and see the battle. 50 rock throwers versus one, one Zeus, who wins? Yeah, the scope of the game is huge. And the gameplay really shifts depending on the age you are playing. You're playing the Bronze Age, it's like kind of like shock cavalry versus archers versus javelins, cavalry archers. It feels more like of an Age of Empires rock, paper, scissors kind of thing. You play in the modern age, well, then you have tanks, you need to be careful with submarines, ships, you need to be careful with air control. If you have a B-52 bomber dropping nukes on you, you're doomed. You need to build tanks, infantry, then you have infantry that counters tanks, tanks that counters tanks, tanks that counter infantry, you have siege, you have the towers that you build, they start throwing rocks, then arrows, then cannonballs, and then laser towers. Note to self, this is maybe stream. I need to stream. I need to do a stream like, everyone, this is Empire Earth. This is probably like, if this had an active community and more balance and everything, this for me, Empire Earth Definitive Edition would be here for me. It would be the number one, and I'm going to place it at number 2. I like this game too much to place it lower. I really like this game. And the concept, you also have the commanders that get upgraded with the age. You start with Gilgamesh, then you have like Alexander the Great in the game as a general, Julius Caesar. Empire games were insanely good. Yeah, have Julius Caesar. I remember you have Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron, the pilot of the airplane. You have Napoleon. A lot of my history knowledge comes from Empire Earth. And you had 4 campaigns. First one was the Greeks settling in Argus. Second one, was it French or English? I do not remember. Third one was World War. And fourth campaign was future campaign you played with Novaya Russia. Kinda. Yeah. And the expansion was really good as well. Yeah, Gilgamesh ruling Neanderthals. Oh, the first hero is in the Copper Age. Prehistoric Age and Stone Age did not have heroes. So you do not have Gilgamesh ruling Neanderthals. You have Gilgamesh ruling pre-old stuff, but not the Neanderthals. But you can do it. You can do it in the game, in the scenario editor. You can have Napoleon governing rock throwers. You can do that. Yeah, this for me is a great game. You can have airplanes firing at rock throwers, like. Do you go here? I think. Empire 3 was not that good. It simplified the game a lot. It went from like 14 ages into like 4 ages. I think they tried to condense the game into a more rich gameplay experience, but I remember that felt very poor. I did not have a good time with Empire 3, and from such a beloved franchise, this is like Command & Conquer 4. It felt like the final nail in the coffin for a franchise, and Empire 3 was not that good. Not a lot to say, just underwhelming potential. A wasted, but it's like the end of a franchise. That's why I need to go back into Empire Earth, the first one, to renew my palette. Endless Legend. Let's go back into the 4K games. This is hard. Not 4K, 4X. Exploration, expansion, X something, X something, yeah, the 4Xs. Economy. Is it better? I think I'm going to place it here. Is it better or worse than Civ 6? I'm indecisive. I think maybe Ashes can go here. Maybe. I need to readjust this in the end. Okay, now we have two Civs adjacent. I think Civ 4, Endless Legend, Civ 6. I think this is good. Endless Legend is kind of like Civ, but much more fantasy with different fantasy races that play very different from each other. But some things I do not appreciate in the gameplay loop. I think mechanics, extract, expand, extrapolate, execute, excellent. Yes, those are the 4 X's. I think it's just a little bit below Civ 6, in my opinion. It is better than a lot of Civ games, but I don't think it's better than 5, 4, and 6, the pinnacle of Civ so far. Imperator Rome, the game that everyone wanted to love, and everyone still wants to love. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is Europa Universalis, but in Roman time, and I'm a huge fan of Roman time with like controlling the Celts, the Romans. You can reestablish the Empire of Alexander the Great, but a lot of gameplay mechanics felt a little bit poor at release, and usually that's normal with Paradox games. They release kind of poor and then they just get upgraded and they become masterpieces. This game was kind of abandoned, sadly. And I would wish to place it higher, but I think I'm going to place it at high C tier. I feel like this game could be a lot better if it get constant support, some mods, some community members are trying to do it. There were some efforts to kind of like revive the game. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say this, and this is quite an important thing. This is a hidden template. In the description of my YouTube video, I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. In the description of my YouTube video, there is a link to this exact tier list. If you want to do your own version, I'm going to share it on X and my Discord, and you can just share your own version down below to show in my face how wrong you think I am. I want battle, I want war. But yeah, I think so far things are looking good. I'm going to adjust them in the end. Okay, now this is a game. If anyone says, I know this game, I will be very surprised. Imperialism. And usually people do the joke, oh, if Imperialism is so good, why don't they do Imperialism 2? You have Imperialism 2 as well. This game feels like a fever dream to me. I played it a lot, and visually and everything, I feel like it's so peculiar. I kind of want to stream this game, like, I want to stream Empire to shout to the world, look at this greatness. I want to stream this game to show at the world, look at this. What is this? I do not know. Please tell me. It is a game where you prospected for resources. It's kind of like controlling the workers in Civ 4. That was a huge part of the gameplay loop. Then you built armies and you control them in a tactical landscape. Then you also wanted to trade resources. You had battles with other countries. You had technologies. You had a main city that you had to manage. And you got workers. And you use paper to upgrade your workers into like qualified workers. The game like sound design, and you have a newspaper that shows what's happening in the world. Like the presentation of the game is spectacular. The gameplay loop, it's turn-based, and then you fight tactical battles. The gameplay loop is so hard to describe. This is a game I would have to show you. And both of them are good in different ways. I think 2 is a little bit better. I played 1 more. And where do I place these games? Where do I place Imperialism and Imperialism the Second? I'm so confused right now. If you wonder why I'm so confused, Google this game. I will give you 1 minute to Google this game, look at a screenshot and tell me where do I place this game? I think this will be both of them B tier. Next to each other, like this. I don't think I can put them in A tier. I wonder how much of this is nostalgia speaking, or if the game still hold up. Just from uniqueness factor alone, I'm gonna play some right here. Imperialism and Imperialism 2. Very peculiar games. Looking at the screenshots, clearly a top 90s 2000s RTS. True, it's not an RTS, it's more turn-based, but clearly a game of its genre. And hello, Hanlo van Buren. Everything is going great. I've rated quite a lot of games already. Like, how many? We still have 2 rows to go. But I mean, this is my tier list of all strategy games. At the top we have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, Empire Earth, the standard game and expansion, EU4, Battle for Middle-earth Rise of the Witch King, and StarCraft, the expansion. And then we have a whole lot of games, Command & Conquer games, Battlefield Gothic Armada, there are billions, Civilization, Majesty. When I was researching for this, I was surprised at how many games I've played and the variety amidst them. You cannot tell me that I played few strategy games. And the worst part is, this could make me feel, oh, maybe I need to play less. This makes me want to play more, like more of all of these games, and also explore other games. I really like Age of Empires and I want to keep it at my channel, but I really want to show you. Like, even in terms of personal interest, I want to be like, look, Empire Earth, look, it is so cool. Look at this. It is astonishing. I want to show you these games. Heroes of Might and Magic 6. This is the only Heroes of Might and Magic that I played. This is kind of like Age of Wonders, where you have cities and you recruit armies, they use abilities. I think it's better than Age of Wonders, but I won't place it that high. Oh, Halo Wars, yes, Halo has strategy games, I keep forgetting that. I need to add... oh, that's another thing, I'm doing the engagement bait. Also, in the comments down below, if you think I'm missing any key strategy game, feel free to comment down below and give me more viewer engagement. I think the only I played was 3 or 4. I had a group of friends that were playing it for like 1 year. Yeah, these games, since they are turn-based, if someone takes too long, it's kind of like Civ, it can get ashore. But they were very good for co-op, either in LAN or also in hot seat co-op. Like, I think they had a setting where a player could sit down, do their turn, then they press next turn, and it's like, go away and bring the other person over to do your turn now. I think these games had a setting like that, so both players could be playing in the same game. Wait, Halo Wars games are not on the list? I never played them, so of course they aren't. This is only the games I've played. Yeah, we did that hot seating, exactly. Used to Grand AoE3 brings back a lot of memories. Yeah, AoE3 is a good game. Everything that is B or above, you can consider a good game. C, some are good, some are bad. D are bad. But B or above means that the game is good. I consider all of these games good games in the scope of things. I just consider these to be the more good. Or as they say it in proper English, better. Stronghold Legends. This is clearly... Nah. Stronghold Legends. Is it worse? Like, it's not, is it better? Is it worse than Empire Earth 3? I think it isn't. More gooder, exactly. Stronghold Legends is such a weird game. Yeah, I'm not going to use that word to keep, but it is the most accurate description. I don't remember this a lot. I remember it being bad. That's the only memory that, when your only memory of a game is how bad it was, it's usually not a good sign. It's not Stronghold at all. You have a formula for what a Stronghold game is. This did not feel like a Stronghold game. It was very weird. The gameplay look is weird. That's not a good game. Now, this one, personal opinion matters a lot here, but for me this is a C tier. I think this game is not that bad. I'm not a huge fan of because I'm a long-time Command & Conquer fan, I'm not a huge fan of how they made everything so cheesy. And even some gameplay things, I do not like the visual of the game that much. I feel like when Lori was complaining about the visuals of Age of Mythology, and I can't relate, that's what I feel about Trailer 3's visuals. The heavy cartoon with kind of like outlines, it didn't work for me. This is a game that I know maybe I'm being a little bit too rough. It had some cool concepts. Japan as a civ was kind of cool, and with the transforming mechs and everything. The soundtrack, superb, excellent. 10 out of 10 soundtrack. But a game is not soundtrack alone. I think Red Alert 3 is probably... Yeah, you chose a bad starting point, Lori. I think this is probably the most popular one. Like, if you're an old school gamer, it's Red Alert 2, but if you talk to a mainstream person, I think this is the most famous Command & Conquer game. By far, Red Alert 3, and I don't think it is a good representation of the franchise. As you can see, I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that I've placed above it. So, yeah, some people may fight me, but I don't think this is good. Okay, this one, I wonder how many people know that this exists. This was the console Civilization game. I played this on the PS3. And, for example, some people criticize Civ 6 or Civ 7. They wanted to port it to other things, so the controls are janky. This was not ported. This was like the console Civilization game. And so you might be thinking, oh, if it's the console Civilization, they are PC games, they are probably bad. If you try to adapt something from the PC to the PlayStation, then it's probably a fluke. No. This was a good game. Now I can make the list of games I'm disappointed you didn't play. And hello, Chunken with the raid. Let me wait a little bit because I never know how long people take to join. Sometimes they are still hopping over. But yeah, so I'm going to finish Civilization Revolution and then introduce the players. I think A is too much, but this was a good game. Not better than 3, better than Age of Wonders. And hello, Junken. I'm being rated by Junken, fellow VTuber and friend. I'm a mod in his channel. He was playing Uma Musume, a game that I may play next week, and I know that Junken is doing a lot of interesting stuff related to Uma Musume. And welcome, pumpkins. I'm one of you. I'm one of the pumpkins, and I'm very happy to have you joining me here today. I'm doing something very different from playing Uma Musume. I've played a lot of strategy games, as you can see from this list, a lot of them. And I'm doing a tier list of how I rate them all. Where is the Uma Musume on the rank? It's not here yet. And like, if I add Uma Musume, I would also have to add Football Manager, because I feel like Uma Musume is Football Manager for horses, basically. And I excluded some strategy subgenres. I don't have tower defense games, for example, and they are 100% strategy games. I don't have city builder games. I excluded some subgenres. I'm focusing more on PvP a little bit, building, controlling units, and hello Van, welcome. And yeah, it's rare to see me hating something. If you want to see games that I consider bad, if you want to know what a bad strategy game is, Stronghold Legends, Empire Earth 3 and Command & Conquer 4. At the top, we have Age of Empires 2, Empire Earth, Europa Universalis 4, The Lord of the Rings, The Battle for Middle-earth 2, The Rise of the Witch King, a very short name, and the expansion for the first StarCraft. Yeah, tower defense games are amazing. I feel like if I do a tower defense list, it has to be another one. There are Billions is kind of tower defense-ish, but it has enough unit control to not be a pure tower defense. But for me, it would be very hard to place a tower defense here. It feels very different. Yeah, it is strange. So, to make my life easier, no city builder and no tower defense. But we are about to hit bangers, and I'm going to get the 3 of them together. Legacy of the Void. StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is a masterpiece of a game. Before I played Age of Empires, it was the main strategy game that I played. Is Frostpunk a city builder? I consider it a city builder. I've played Frostpunk, that's the only reason why it's not here. I considered Frostpunk a city builder. It is a survival city builder, but a city builder nonetheless. Yeah, StarCraft 2 is the king. In my opinion, StarCraft 1 is great, but in personal enjoyment, I think StarCraft 2 is the most refined RTS out there. It is so well done, the unit controls, the asymmetry, so much flavor to each of the factions, the Terran, the Zerg, the Protoss. It is an iconic masterpiece, and the campaign of the first one, specifically, it is such a complete product. You go mission to mission, you recruit different units, different technologies. For example, your performance in the first mission, or the second one, will affect the units you have available on the 9th mission, or 10th mission. You have your spaceship, where you are traveling from mission to mission, and the campaign, you have some decisions, go here or go there, and it's enough of a strategic variety that you feel my decisions matter, but you don't feel like, oh, my experience is ruined because I can't decide both. They are impactful, but not enough to harm your enjoyment. Blizzard peaked once and never came back up. Blizzard peaked for quite a while, for quite some generations, and oh boy, then modern day Blizzard, we don't talk about that. But for me, StarCraft 2, it is the only game I consider that can come toe-to-toe with Age of Empires 2D. Yeah, it is the game that got me into competitive RTS as well. It is the game that, like, the story is great. Jim Raynor, the characters in the campaign for the first one, both main characters like Jim Raynor, Arcturus Mengsk, Valerian Mengsk, Tychus, both the main characters are amazing. And also some side characters that only show up on one mission, like Hanan Horner, what's the name of that other guy? The guy from the Terrazine mission. A lot of flavor. I think right now, Age of Empires 2 is better, but because it is more active, it has better patches. Yes, Statman. It has constant support. StarCraft 2 is a little bit on lifeline. 2 years ago, it would have been this, without a doubt. Nowadays, it is this. But there's no other position for me for Wings of Liberty, either first or second place. As much as I like Empire Earth, I prefer this. These is my top 3 strategy games of all time. I mean, we still have games to go, maybe some will threaten it. Heart of the Swarm. Heart of the Swarm, both the story was good, but a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of damage was done to the competitive game. Heart of the Swarm is where a lot of slow metas, a lot of boring metas of I'm building swarm hosts, and I think Heart of the Swarm was the rise of some problems in the competitive side. And I think the campaign, even though it has Abathur, and it was a really good campaign, I'm placing it high here, but I think for me it was the most underwhelming of expansions. I think Legacy of the Void, I like the balance changes. I think the story from, I think that one is still better. Do I place it on S tier or high A? I don't really separate the expansions other than campaign-wise, so I don't know how good each of them was competitively. Yeah, I was very active in both watching and playing the game competitively. So, I think it deserves the S tier. I think Legacy of the Void deserves the end of the campaign. I was not a huge fan of, and I know that alone, the end of the story alone, is enough for a lot of people to put it down to A tier. That is enough of a blunder. But I think the competitive aspect improved. I enjoyed the campaign. The starting moments of the Protoss all severing themselves from the Kala was very powerful. I think the roster of characters was really nice. I really enjoyed Alarak, for example. And it's still the expansion that is live today. I think like this. I think this works. Only being Protoss was a downside. Was Legacy of the Void the one who had that co-op? If it was, I'm more solidified with keeping it high. Maybe it was. Co-op mode is a banger. Oh, and on StarCraft, Laurie said it before, there's also the arcade. And that's where games like... that's where games like Dota and things like that can spawn. There's a Squadron TD is quite popular nowadays, and it even has its own Steam standalone release. That's a game from StarCraft Arcade. StarCraft Arcade is an in-game browser that allows you to go into games inside StarCraft, and there's so much variety. People are talking about tower defense games. There are a load, like 20-30 different tower defense games just inside StarCraft, and it's not like, oh, this is someone made in 1 minute and it's weak. No, they are really good games inside the arcade. Minds and Magic, I had such a blast playing Minds and Magic. I forgot if I told you I had a huge phase of playing EU4. Oh, I had no idea about that chunk, and I don't think you ever told me. If you did, I forgot. Oh, Lottery Tower Defense. Masterpiece. I spent so many hours in that. That's so good. Mixing the units, finding secret units. Yeah, StarCraft 2 is a cultural thing. It's not only the game itself. I spent hours in that mode as well. Me and Crad Toast spent hours both in co-op and in... And hello Warbase! You can see here the only objective and correct opinion on how strategy games should be rated. But yeah, Junket, I need to get to pick your brains about your EU4 phase. Now I'm curious. And that's... EU4 is also a game that has changed so much over the time. I played the game upon release and now it's a completely different game. And that one mode where you were a troll in the jungle, I don't remember that one. Oh, Rise of Nations is still to be added. Do not worry, I have played. This is only games that I've played. I've played very little strategy games, but they're all here. But that's the criteria to be on the list. Okay, but now we have Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne. I also unified Japan. But, oh, sad story, I was playing for the achievement, because there's an achievement to do that. But I was playing as Ryukyu Islands. And I don't think you can unify Japan. There's something like along the lines of, you need to have this mission. And I didn't get the achievement and I was salty, because I unified Japan, but I didn't get the achievement for unifying Japan. And back then I was achievement hunting, so I was salty. Fun story there. I also like to do world conquest with Portugal, because I'm Portuguese. Okay, we were talking about Peak Blizzard. These, like, I have fan arts from 2002 that I have of Warcraft 3 characters. Like fan drawings. This game, I'm a huge fantasy nerd, and I said that a lot of my fantasy knowledge comes from Majesty. I think Warcraft, not Lord of the Rings, Warcraft was the main gateway that made me become a fantasy nerd. I think Warcraft was my gateway into, okay, I love fantasy, fantasy is the best genre ever, and the story of Warcraft 3 is so iconic, the unit design, the 4 factions that you can play, the humans, the night elves, the orcs, and the undead, all with very different gameplay. You had that mechanic that you need to expand to get the neutral camps that originated quite a lot of League of Legends and MOBA dynamics. You had a hero that you had to control and level up with the abilities. You also have tower defenses, and not as well integrated as the arcade from StarCraft 2, but you had all of those ingredients. It's where Dota spawned from, and to this day we live amongst the curse of Dota. That was not a blessing, it was a curse that rised from Warcraft 3. The characters, Arthas, such an iconic character, a lot of the most... Illidan Stormrage, you are not prepared! Like... And Arthas with a Frostmourne hungers. Like... The voice lines... Work, off we go then. More work? Like every faction, every unit had such an amount of flavor. And the cutscenes for that time. Have you seen those cutscenes? Like Arthas ascending to the throne and everything. or kill Jaden, destroying Dalinar. For the time, yeah. The only bad cutscene was the final cutscene from Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne. I can't believe it. It was so bad. They were trying to show the in-game cutscene maker. It's like you fumbled the most important cutscene of the game. But both of them are S tier. Which one goes to S? Both. Are they above Legacy of the Void? I think not, but I think they are, for me, they are above. Okay, I need to reorder some things here because I think this is below this. Yeah, this seems fair. Now, Frozen. I think Frozen. No, I think the base game. Like, the base game includes the Descent of Arthas. In the second one, you're more Illidan and chasing Arthas. The Descent of Arthas, starting the first campaign with Arthas as the hero, the paladin, and then having him fall into darkness and becoming possessed by Frostmourne. It was so cool. And then you play as Arthas and you destroy the High Elves. Are you taking your nostalgia goggle off for this raid? Yes, I am. If I had my nostalgia goggles on, this would be like this. I am trying to do like as much as my enjoyment of the game from a today's standpoint. And I still think these two are superb games even nowadays. The unit selection, like you can only select 12 units at a time, that's frustrating in modern days. But I feel like the story still holds up to this day. And yeah, I'm trying my best. Of course, all of us are biased, and personal enjoyment is playing a huge role here. Supreme Commander. I feel like this game deserves more than what it has. I think this game is very enjoyed and a lot of people like it. I may stream this game one of these days. I don't think people give Supreme Commander the worth that it deserves. It is such a good game. Yeah, Master of Infinite Zoom, you can zoom in and out of the battlefield to control your units, and the scale of this game is massive. You have like a line of your tanks going forward, the enemy has defense lines shooting down your tanks, but in another front line, you're sending a huge mech, but they are sending an air force, and then you're battling a navy, and then you have shield domes, and then he's building nukes. Okay, I need to build counter nukes. Like, the scale of Supreme Commander is so cool. It's things happening everywhere. It's not overwhelming. You zoom in and out, and you have your commander building. I think the only thing that harms Supreme Commander, the only aspect, just one, economy of the game is great. I really like the fact that your economy is based on income versus outcome. For example, you're building a tank that costs 20 ore per minute. You're gathering 10 ore per minute. The tank will still build, but at half rate. What matters is the difference between income and outcome. You can build as many things as you want, but if you oversaturate production, everything will slow down. So this is a game about economy works by rates. And then you need to base a lot of units, a lot of things on the field. What's the one negative? Once I start learning this game more professionally, I learned about mass harvesting. Using your engineers to harvest trees, rocks and everything. You can harvest mass from nature or from your opponents. Imagine your opponent sends a super ship to attack you. A giant robot. This is futuristic mechas, big robots. You destroy the robot. Well, the metal is now there in your territory. You can harvest it and your economy booms. That is great. What is not great is that you start with trees, rocks, scattered everywhere. And you can harvest those. And harvesting them is the secret between being a bad player and a super player. I can win Supreme Commander games 1 versus 3 because none of my friends know how to harvest rocks. And harvest rocks is so important and so boring and so unrewarding. I think the start economy of harvesting rocks and trees is the worst part of Supreme Commander. I think it's the only negative of the game. That and sometimes too many things happening, it can slow down. Other than that, it is a perfect strategy game. And it is a strategy game without peer, in my opinion. The tactical aspect is great. The Battles look amazing, explosions, grabbing tanks, harvesting rocks, giant intensified. Exactly. But the story is also nice, the three factions, the Cybran, the Aeon, and the EWF, I think. And then in the expansion they had the Seraphim. You see here the Seraphim robot. I think both deserve an S tier. The last part of the list is being quite stacked in S tiers, but I think both of them. Forged Alliance I think is a bit better. I would even place them above Rise of the Witch King. Not above Warcraft. These are S. These are both of them are S tier games. I have no doubts about it. Some of these were hard to place. These are S tiers, no questions asked, and I feel like they could easily become much better games even. And there's a lot of people who are trying to reinvent this formula. Planetary Annihilation, I think, was the game that popularized this formula. Supreme Commander just refined it, and now we have a bunch of clones on the way. But I think none of them can capture the charm of the original one of Supreme Commander. Okay. Now we have 3 in a line of games that I consider obscure. I don't see Caesar. Oh, because of city building. I excluded Tower Defense and City Building. If I had City Building, I would have Anno, Caesar, Pharaoh, Zeus. I've played a lot of City Builder games. City Skylines, of course. What else? Like, I could do just a City Builder tier. Yeah, Caesar 3. I think 2 would be A tier and 3 would be S tier. You excluded Anno has a City Builder? Yes, Anno is a City Builder. Anno is a city builder to me, in my heart. So, yeah, those were excluded because of that. Okay, this game, I described Imperialism as a fever dream. This is even worse. I don't remember, I played this game, how old was I? Very young. I know that it's about controlling units from mission to mission. Oh, I didn't play 1503. I played 1404 and 1800. Those are the 2 annos I played. Yeah, Myth. If you Google this game, you will feel so much nostalgia, so much jank of old games. This is a game where you go from mission to mission controlling units. I have almost no memory of this game. I have this is a really old game. I remember having fun with it. I'm going to place it here in B, because some of these games I only have bad memories. Here, I don't have bad memories. I had a lot of fun, but I don't remember this game well enough to place it higher than this. I would love to revisit this game to clear the fever dream, to see what it was all about. Okay. Now this is a game that I don't think anyone here has ever played. Portugal 1111 A Conquista de Soura. This was the first game that was entirely produced in Portugal. It is kind of a Age of Empires clone, but worst. It is very strange. It is very fever dream-like as well. I remember the characters talking about Talguidar and things like that. The voice lines were recorded very poorly. Yeah, sorry, Portugal video game. I need to be fair. If I was going by, yeah, I need to represent Portugal. But yeah, I think this is the Portugal has contributed to some international games and some mainstream games. But this is the only game, not the only, but the first game that was 100% developed in Portugal. It's about the Reconquista of the Portuguese versus the Moors. It is an interesting game. I think it's interesting if you are Portuguese and you want to know what a Portuguese game produced, distributed and made in Portugal is. But I can't recommend this game to any RTS players. Okay, Praetorians? I remember this game having a lot of cool stuff. I remember this game doing a lot of things very well. This is a game set in Roman times where you controlled squadrons of units. And I remember, for example, you can go through trees, through forests. They are not block terrain, but your movement speed gets halted, but your units get defense buffs. formations are very important, how you display your units around. I remember unit control in this game, it was tight formations like groups of 15 units, and it was very rewarding. That's the main thing I remember. I don't remember this very well, once again, ancient game, but I remember unit formations was very rewarding. I'm going to place it high B. Maybe here. As I said, I want to revisit all of these games. This is so many games. Unlimited games. And now we come to Rise of Nations and Rise of Legends. I have these games on Steam to stream. I think I have Rise of Nations, not Rise of Legends. Rise of Nations is a little bit like Empire Earth in the term of it goes throughout a lot of ages. I remember, I've played this a long time ago, it was very zone based. You had zones in the map. It's an RTS where you build units, you build buildings, build units, and different zones have different properties. For example, you have this territory, you can only build 3 towers on this territory. You can only build 4 houses on this territory. You want more, you have to expand. And then you can get upgrades as you age up, as you tech up, that really influence how territories worked. You can make it so that your opponent's units lost life over time when they invaded your territory. You can make it so that your units were stronger inside your own territory. You could get economy buffs. It is a very interesting formula. I remember, that's Rise of Nations, right? I'm not misremembering the game. Let me check Rise of Nations map to see if the minimap has those divisions of territories. In my mind, I think I'm mixing up Rise of Nations with Empire Earth 2. Did Rise of Nations have them? Oh, no, I think I'm correct in terms of zones and growing your zones of influence. It is different. Rise of Nations and Empire Earth 2 are very similar games, in a way. I'm kind of blending them two together in my memory. But Rise of Nations is a good game. It is not a top game, but it is a good game. Below Stronghold. Below Command and Conquer, in my opinion. I think here. I think here is a good place, and this is more historical. You had Rise of Legends. Then I remember having a great time with this game. This is one of my favorite games to play back then. It was like Rise of Nations, same gameplay, but then you had three factions. I think some were more like magic themed, others were more steampunk themed. Yes, I remember the steampunk faction. I really like steampunk stuff. My setting as a VTuber is very steampunk inspired, but I think this is a game that doesn't hold up very well today. High C or low B. I think if I played this today, I would not enjoy it. I enjoyed it back then. I think nowadays I wouldn't enjoy it. Oh, no, and now this is the game that I think I was thinking about when I was describing Rise of Nations. Let me check real quick here. Why are these two games blending so much? Yeah, in Rise of Nations, you had areas that expanded. And in Rise of Legends... No, not Rise of Legends. In Empire Earth 2, you had the predetermined borders on the map that you wanted to conquer, and you had limits of buildings inside each of the borders. Exactly. They are kind of similar. It's surprising that I think Rise of Nations and Empire Earth 2 are more similar than Empire Earth 1 and Empire Earth 2. What's your highest Heroes of Might and Magic? I only have this one because it's the only one I played and I didn't play it that much. Heroes of Might and Magic is a franchise that I need to play more. It completely flew under my radar. It is and I know they are good games. They are kind of like Age of Wonders, but I don't have enough experience. I consider myself an expert in strategy games. I'm not an expert in Heroes of Might and Magic. Sadly, I only played 6 and it was good. By the way, the explanation is B and above are all good games. C and below are like C are and D. This is like the root of so many strategy games. Oh, that doesn't count. I'm not counting that. I count how much I enjoyed playing the game. Historical significance, like Civilization 2 was more important than Civ 5 in terms of historical significance for the gaming industry. But Civ 5 was just the best Civ game ever, in my opinion. Empire 2... okay, Empire 2 is definitely not next to Empire 3, but it's also definitely not next to Empire 1. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's as good as Empire 1. They changed the formula a little bit, it's still a good game. But I don't think, and I'm thinking between B and A. I think it's a great game, but I don't think it's the top of the top, in my personal opinion. And I think A is too much. I'm going to place it at high B. The highest of Bs. I can still rearrange later. I'm getting frustrated that instead of having perfect lines, we have StarCraft here ruin this line. We have one ruin this line, one ruin this line. I'm going to adjust it. One ruin it. I need to adjust this. Okay. How is Army Man RTS B tier? Okay, it should be higher in B tier, or are you saying it should be lower? This game is very good. That comment, I need to know if you want me to make it higher or lower. Do not press the J key. I did the J key joke already. It is a game with so much personality. Okay, I think I still need to tweak the list a little bit. Maybe this can go a bit higher. Generals is okay here. Maybe this can go above Generals. Praetorians, yeah, Praetorians maybe below these two. Imperialism. I need to think. Imperialism is also a wonky one. And hello Swan, welcome to the stream. Okay, this is going to be difficult. Can keep it there, I just arrived. It was the first thing I noticed. Rome Total War is so hard in that context of this, because for example, I have the grand strategy games like Europa Universalis. I have where's the other one? The other Europa Universalis, Imperator Rome. Rome Total War is the only Total War game I have. And they do not compete with a lot of other franchises. In terms of how the gameplay loop works. You have the map where you build the units and you control them, and then you control them in the battlefield in real time. The battles are really good. I think it's going to be a high A tier. I didn't get much into this franchise. I remember, it's funny the memories you have from these games. I remember starting this game, and first it was in English, it was in Spanish, and I was playing with the Brutii, and I didn't notice the game was in Spanish. And I started the cutscene, and in English it's like, Gauls. I hate the Gauls. The grandfather of my grandfather hated them too. Like a very aggressive voice. The Brutii, they are kind of like the mean Romans at the era, very combative, and Gauls, yeah. But I was playing in Spanish, and instead of having that aggressive voice, the campaign started with Dioses, odia los galos. El abuelo de mi abuelo también los odiaba. Like, and I just bursted laughing. I have that memory so vivid. Instead of having the aggressive voice, Dioses, odia los galos. And especially because galos is the Gauls, but it also means roosters in Portuguese. So it seems like someone is saying, oh, I hate chickens. My grandfather and my ancestors all hate chickens. It sounds like that in Portuguese, so... a bit of a fun side story. Yes, Galo de Barcelos. Not playing it. No, I played it in English. As soon as I noticed, I switched to English. But the first time I opened up, in Portugal we have a lot of games that come in French, in Spanish, in whatever language. All languages but Portuguese, because no one bothers doing Portuguese games. Now they do, but back then. And Uncharted, by the way, side note, since we are talking about dubs, Uncharted in Portuguese is better than in English. The early PS3 era, Uncharted, and there are other games from that era. Infamous Portuguese dub is so good. I really enjoyed the Infamous Portuguese dub. The early PS3 era Portuguese dub games are amazing. But yeah, I played this in English, I think below Stronghold, and maybe below Age of Empires 2. It's like the Dragon Ball dub, through another masterpiece. above Majesty. I think that's fair. And we don't have a lot of games. Okay, Sacrifice. I played this game. This is an old game, but I played very recently. I was going to a list of like top 20 strategy games of all time, and it's like played, and then Sacrifice. And I was like, I haven't played this. And I played it in modern times to discover the game, and I remember almost nothing of the game. I'm going to place it here. Now, maybe I don't think it was bad, but it was also not memorable for me. I think this game maybe didn't age well. I remember it being very meh at the time. And so let's move on to Sins of a Solar Empire. It's good to scroll up a lot. Scrolling up a lot is a good sign. How can you rate it? You can't even remember. If it was good, like, if it was very good, I would have kept playing it. That's the secret. If it was good, I would have remembered it. If I don't remember it, it's a bad... Yeah, it's an RTS in third person where you control a character. Exactly. That's exactly the game. For me, it's like, if you wanted to be higher on the list, you should have convinced me to play you more and to create memories about you. The first Sins of a Solar Empire? And yes, it is third person. RTS, it is strange. I'm indecisive between S and A. I think this deserves to be like the lowest of S tier games. Sins of a Solar Empire 2 can still grow to become one of the best. I think the first one deserves a place. Like the image, I set these images up. I wish it didn't have the games for Windows here. Looking, but I think Sins of a Solar Empire was a very refined game. I had some underwhelming moments in the second one. I think the second one can become... I need to play second one more. But the first one... This is hard. I think I'm going to climb the second one up. Now that I'm remembering some of the mechanics they implemented. Not above Majesty. Oh, but it's so many... Like, there's so many good games. He always wins the first... True! The first one, I always win it, so it's better. It's true. It's true. I never lost. I don't remember losing a single game of this. If a game makes me win, it's better. That's the criteria. Okay, if a game makes me win, it's better. So Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Sadly, you need to go to the last place because I keep losing nowadays. So this is only fair. Nah, I need to play more of both of them. I need to play more games. I need to play less Age of Empires. Where it belongs. No. Number one. Yosh. You're okay there. Stronghold 2 and Stronghold 3. Stronghold 2 was bad. But not as bad as this Stronghold 3. Is it worse than Legends? Nah, I think it's better than Legends, but still bad. Stronghold 2... Yeah, I think this is the good place. Yeah, Stronghold is a franchise that really peaked at the start. We have the first Stronghold here and Crusaders a little bit lower because I prefer the first one, the campaign and everything. It is a franchise that really peaked at the start. Yeah, I feel good that you didn't play Stronghold 3. It was not great. And Stronghold 2 was not great at all. Legends is the worst one. Yeah, too, like as I said, C are games that can be enjoyable. Like Europa Universalis 3 is not a bad game. Stronghold 2 is not a bad game. They are just not that great. If these are the only games that I consider bad. And Supreme Commander 2, I think it's also like one of those sequels that tried some stuff but destroyed the essence of the original. I think it's not that bad. I think if you never played Supreme Commander 1, you may be shocked. Because the main harm... This is a good game in standalone. In the context of the Supreme Commander franchise, it's such a massive downgrade. I think it's a little bit better than Stronghold 2, but this was a really huge downgrade in the franchise. It dumbed it down very much, made a lot of mechanics more arcade. Have you never played Stellaris? No, I have never played Stellaris a single time. Like, so far, the only game that I've missed, I think it was, someone said Empires at War, I think it was the name, kind of like a spiritual successor to Empire Earth. That one I missed from the list. Other than that, I don't think there's a single game, strategy game, that I'm missing from the ones I played. As I said, oh, and by the way, let me reiterate this. In the description of the YouTube video, and I will also share it on X and on Discord, there is a link to this specific tier list, and you can add some of your own games in your version. So if you want to prove me how wrong I am, feel free to make your own version and then reply to me on social media. We're almost down to go. And okay, if it is strange to have a Portuguese-made game, this is a Portuguese-made game that is a strategy game for the PS3. Yes, a strategy game for the PS3. So this is... That's why it flew under my radar. And it was actually kind of good. It's not base building, it's unit control. Units have different abilities. You build your unit comp and then control them throughout missions. Where can I ask for help with something? It depends with what the something is. Right now you need to keep the focus on the topic of the stream, of course. It depends on what the something is, of course. But Under Siege, probably. No, I'm going here. I think it's between C and B. I think it's B tier, honestly. StarCraft on Nintendo 64. There was StarCraft on Nintendo 64. Strange how I've never heard of these Portuguese games. Yeah, I was searching for them in a way. I wanted to see what it was, and this game was like, for the proposition that the game made of controlling units in a squad, like, it's not something super massive, but it was a good game, interesting story. While this game it's Portuguese and I can't say it's good, this one was unique and kind of like the gameplay loop that they found merged well with the PlayStation 3. I feel like this game is kind of a better Myth, in my opinion. So I need to place it above Myth. Placing it above these games, I feel like it's a little bit harder, but I think it's Myth, but better. This is another game that is either C or D. And this is a part of the games where you have a great first game, a great franchise that's still beloved today, and they try. This falls from Command & Conquer 4 syndrome. They tried too hard to reinvent the wheel. They went too deep. They lost the plot. I don't think it's bad enough to be a D. I think low C is enough for this. I think these games really stand out in a league of their own. And World in Conflict, what a strange game to end on. This is like modern times, controlling squads of units, controlling them like tactical point of view. You need to hide them behind stuff. Controlling squads of tanks, then you gain some points, you can call in more units. One of the more... I remember playing the story, and I think this is a low B. Maybe here. I think some people would place this very high. For me, it's not my particular cup of tea. The time setting, the period, it was a good game, it was quite refined. I also remember it didn't have that much content. And yeah, we've gone through all the list. Now I'm going to try to make it look neater. If I unzoom, does it just automatically become neater? No, it keeps like that. So I cannot drop these to A. Can I climb some Bs to A tier or drop? Oh, I can drop to A tiers for sure to B. Then we see the order a little bit. Yeah, just to make it look neater, I can't drop these ones. I can go... Does Civilization 5 belong in S? I think Civ 5 belongs in S. I think I can promote Civ 5 to S tier. I think it's the best 4X game of all time. And Ashes of the Singularity can go to high B. I'm not going to adjust them all because then it starts being too forced, but I feel like this works better. I feel like this works better. So let's go from top to bottom. Let's review everything, and if you have any question about any of these games, feel free to let me know. And I think Age of Empires 2, StarCraft 2, Empire Earths, EU4, and then Legacy of the Void. Warcraft 3. I think I'm going to place you above. Do I place you above EU4 even? It feels strange because it's like I can't separate them and it's two games. It feels like EU4 just lost a whole bunch of spots. But yeah, my top 5 being Age of Empires, StarCraft, Empire Earth, Warcraft, and EU4. Followed by the other StarCraft and then Supreme Commander. Yeah, this feels correct. Supreme Commanders, Lord of the Rings Battle for very long game. StarCraft Brood War, Sins of a Solar Empire, and then Civ 5. Yeah, then the first one, Battle, Black and White. I think I can rate Black and White this high. I think Stronghold is better. I think Stronghold is better than Black and White. Both of them are really good. I think Stronghold is better. It said that Age of Mythology was not good because it had the potential to... Yeah, Age of Mythology is good, but it could have been a lot better, in my opinion. Both the original and the remake. Age of Empires 2 here makes sense, the original one. Rome Total War. Do I place Majesty above Rome Total War? Yes, I do. Red Alert, Yuri's Revenge and base game, Sins of a Solar Empire 2, this makes sense. Heart of the Swarm must take a penalty because of the story and harming the multiplayer. Stronghold Crusader can go below. Gains Wrath and above Rise of Nations. Battlefield Gothic Armada, really cool. Squadron control of spaceships in a Warhammer universe. Their billions is too high. It is a cool game, but it is too high. I look at the surrounding games. You are cool, but you are not A tier, considering what the A tier is. Age of Mythology also I don't think belongs in the A tier. Looking at the other games, they can go high B tier, but looking at the other games, I don't feel correct in having these games in the same tier. Ooh, and B tier, I feel like B tier is the tier that has the biggest gap from top B tier to down B tier. Like top S tier to bottom S tier, the gap is very minimal. Top A to bottom A is very minimal. I feel like B tier is the biggest gap. If I had to divide one tier, and I won't, it would be B tier. I think this tier has the biggest spread of games in terms of quality. And I think maybe Tiberian Sun is the best one amongst these ones. Battle for Middle-earth 1 is very good. Let me look at the list here. Any one that I should promote to top. As I said, Command & Conquer Generals, great game. Didn't age that well. I think Empire Earth 2 can be here. As I said, because I enjoyed the first one so much, the second one was a little bit underwhelming for me, but it is a great game. Ashes. Age of Mythology, I think fits there. There are billions. Army Men RTS can go as top heroes. Praetorians, Generals, Civ 3. Civ Revolution, I enjoy... Civ 3 is above. Age of Wonders, AoE 4, AoE 3. AoE 4 under Age of Mythology, I kinda... But this is classic, but still I think AoE 4... Nah, I can't put it that high. Maybe here, and Age of Mythology can fall to here. Then Age of Empires 3 can maybe go up a place. Yeah, I feel like this is more... Okay, Warhammer Dawn of War needs to climb. Now that I'm looking at Warhammer Dawn of War back down here... Yeah, Warhammer Dawn of War can go top 5 of B tier. Northgard can go up a few spots as well. It was the first game that we placed today. You can see how much of a character journey we've had in placing all of these games. And Alpha Centauri, maybe. Okay, this is not the bottom. Alpha started above Civ 7. Under Siege, Mythology Retold below Civ 2. World in Conflict and Sacrifice. Okay, this I'm happy with B tier now. Tiberian Sun is a good game. And Battle for Middle-earth and Empire 2. Yeah, this makes more sense now. I knew I was going to revisit this in the end. This one is the easiest game of all. And this one, like D tier is, I think is solid. Now we just have to sort out C tier. Rise of Legends, probably the best game here. You can go lower. These 3, these 4 are kind of the same game. These are what happened to my franchise games. All of these 4. This is the same but even worse. These were franchises going downhill. These were franchises getting obliterated. Destroyed, devastated. But this, it's funny, they're all 2. Dawn of War 2. Supreme Commander 2. Yeah, that's the thing. Supreme Commander 2 is good. I think it's a good game. Yeah, I think I need to put him higher here. But Supreme Commander 1 is so much better. That's the reason why it's so low. But I think Supreme Commander 2 can go higher. I think Red Alert 3 is probably still a better game. Imperator of Rome. I haven't played Planetary Annihilation. I know it's the one who spawned this genre, but I haven't played it yet. Driftland. I think you can go down a bit. Okay, you can... The other lists I was trying to get games up. Here it's which game goes down. Cossacks can go up a little bit. You can go down. Oh, U3 you can go up. Minecraft Legends. I haven't played Minecraft Legends. U3. Now, Imperator Rome is a better game than U3. Imperator Rome is a better game than U3. U3 is so old and it suffers from that. Just lost a game on Black First. No! No, I haven't played Stellaris, Lori. I think you're probably gone in that moment. I already had chat being shocked that I haven't played Stellaris. I have not played Stellaris. Ever. There's a few games that are, like... My main flaws as a strategy gamer are probably lack of Heroes of Might and Magic, lack of Stellaris's, and and lack of what's the name? Total War games. I need to play more Total War games. Brutal Legend I never played. I'm very confident you are not going to find a game besides the one who said Empire at War, I think that's the name, and I played very little of that game, so I don't feel that bad from excluding it. Besides that game, I don't think you're going to find a game that I missed on the list. And yeah, this is objectively the best strategy games tier list ever made. If you disagree, you're allowed to disagree, but you're wrong. I haven't played Tsar. I know of Tsar, I never played Tsar. Burden of the Crown. Yeah, this is objectively the correct. If you want to tell to someone that Kingdoms Reborn I never played. If you want to tell to someone X game is better than Y game, send them this tier list, and it is the correct list. Basically, you cannot argue. Okay, but can I? Oh. Okay, I will save it after the stream and share it on my socials and everything. Once again, link is down in the description. Let me get back into my room. Godsworn. I also never played that game. This is also a good list for you to know which games I have played and I haven't played. Let me pop back into my room. Woo, here I am. And yeah, that was it for today. Lately I've been doing a lot of very long streams, but I feel like it doesn't make sense to make this stream go any longer, and I feel like, what, 3 hours for a tier list? It's kind of like, it was kind of a good sweet spot. I think it wasn't too long, it wasn't too short, it was just right. It was a nice stream, and I shared a little bit of insight from some of the games. I leave the stream wanting to stream a lot of these games. A lot, my appetite for a lot of these. What's your next stream? My next stream will be Friday. I can go to oh, I don't have that. Wait, if I go here. Let's see if I have this week's schedule set up. Ta-da. Okay, this is last week's schedule. Let me update it real quick. Here we go. Yeah. I would see. Oh, I'm going to show cool things in the room. I want to show. Yes, yes, yes. I'm glad you asked. I want to show you 2 cool things. Just going to show the schedule first. And yeah, Friday, go Rain. Go already killed the Elder Scrolls Wednesdays. No, it was like it's so. I want to stream so many things, Lori. I want to stream more Elder Scrolls, but the main reason why there's no Elder Scrolls this week is because of Saturday, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. You will be very surprised with how good I am at that game. It is a game that I've been most close to being a professional at. I can clear the classic Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, clear the entire game in like 20 minutes, speedrun. I'm really good at that game. And now the remaster is coming out. I'm a huge fan. Like, for a long time, when I heard people saying Tony Hawk, I thought they were doing a mistake because I thought his name was Tony Hawk's. Because I only know his name from the games. And when Tony Hawk says, oh, I'm Tony Hawk, and I'm like, no, you're Tony Hawk's. Because I'm used to the game title. So yeah, Friday will be Go. Friday is always Go. Saturday will be Tony Hawk. And then next week, it will be a weird week, but I will keep streaming. I will have to do some adjustments. Probably, maybe Uma Musume. More Age of Vampires, for sure. But let's get back into my room. And yes, look at my room. It is animated. It has, the clock is moving behind me and the candle is flickering. And look at how cool this is. Maybe the chats are taking too much space. Well, look, chat gone. Hello. Get out of the way. Oh no. Yeah, I can get out of the way. Yeah, true. And I can hide the chats as well. The hiding of the chats, like I have no cool way of hiding myself. Oh, I have. I actually have a cool way of hiding myself. Whoop. Sliding. And yes, look at how cool this looks. This was made by Kaula Rivas. Link is down in the description of both my Twitter channel, not my Twitch channel, and my YouTube. Always credit your artists, and she did an amazing job. The candle flickering and things like that, the clock moving. It looks really, really nice. I have my table here in the front, and let's go back. It really fits your vibe. Thank you. I think it really does. Like, I'm not someone, there are people who have an amazing vision, whoop, and they can say, artist, just do X, Y, and Z, and the artist just follow. I'm not good at that. I just gave some basic guidelines, and she did all the creative stuff, she did all the planning. Like, I was like, artist, do your thing. I see their other work and this really works. Yeah, I agree, it was really good. And I don't only have this, I'm going to go to my opening screen just to flex it. I'm not starting the stream, I'll soon go to the end screen, but I want to flex my opening screen made by Kaula Rivas one more time. I'll be right back. Opening screen time, and the opening screen is not finished. It will have like a starting soon thing written and things like that. But for now, it's just a base animation, just to show you. Yes, and I'm back, and she did such a good job. Let me put you guys back. I really like that with the windows popping. I'm really happy with how things are turning out. I can even, to express my happiness, my eyes even sparkle with how happy I am. Yes, things are turning better and better. I'm really excited. I'm really happy with how things are turning out, and thank you, Junken, for being like, wait, I want to see the stuff. I thought he was about to kiss us. No kissing. No kissing on stream. No. I need a toggle to do a fist bump. I can't do fist bumps as well. Not yet. Yeah, but that was it for today, and now I won't be back to speak a little bit more, but I'm going to go to another new screen. Another Battlefield of Go. No kissing on stream, exactly. No kissing on stream here. We're all say so. Kissing is hand holding, kissing, that's all very unsay so. No things like that here. And yes, not only the... Oh, shh. Don't tell them, Junken. It's a secret. Shh. Do not reveal our DMs. But yes, I also have a new ending screen. This is new, that is new, everything is new. So yeah, I had a blast today. Thanks for joining me. Hope you also had a good time. I'll be sharing the tier list everywhere. And as always, keep enjoying stuff, keep having a good day, wherever you are, no matter how far. Yeah. No worry for coming late. Just showing up is more than enough support. I know that people have busy lives, so thank you to everyone who was here. Thank you to everyone who watches the VOD, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!